Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Apollo Justice Trilogy. This has been quite a long time coming. We have slowly played our way through the Phoenix Wright games up until this point. So we've done the initial Ace Attorney trilogy, and we've done investigations. All of that is up on the VOD channel. There's like 30-odd episodes throughout. And that will only expand because we have 3 games here and 2 more after this in the Great Ace Attorney. Yeah, so we got a lot more to go. I'm very excited. I've been very much anticipating Apollo because I've heard very good things. Very good things. We've heard very good things. However, the reason I am up so early to play is a little bit of an apology because yesterday we had such a late stream with the Marvel Rivals thing. And then last Friday, there wasn't a stream. Because of Marvel Rivals again, actually. So we're up early. We're going to be doing Ace Attorney and Darkwood, I believe. Unless that changes. And yeah, that's going to be our little schedule for today. So I hope you all enjoy. Let's go. Let's get started, shall we? Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Let's do it! And yeah, Big Boss is right, by the way. They just switch it to Phoenix Wright for the rest of them. Kind of weird. But anyway, let's play, shall we? Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney. Finally good to be back on the defense attorney side of things after that little Phoenix, or that little Edgeworth. Artist. Bro, this guy cannot draw. Oh, it's actually animated. Look at that. Alright, is this real or is this the art? Card. Showdown time! I don't know poker. Who won? You lose! That guy won. Okay. Bro lost poker and hit the guy over the head with a bottle. Gotcha. I wonder if we're gonna be facing Pain again. Hey, I recognize that. I seem to be in a bit of trouble. Something like that. Dead. Someone hit him hard. Me? Please. The cop should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should have come to that. So we're going to have a big slew of new characters. Remember that. Alright, so... Apollo, my boy! Me and you! I'm your new partner! Are you excited? To get a lot of things wrong in court? Because I am. Panicked. Palms sweaty. I can admit it. I'm nervous. Ah, good morning. Who's this? Oh. Well, this is another defense attorney. Kind of giving Tumblr mode. Good morning, sir. You look tense, Justice. Wound up tight. Yeah, wound up, sir. No, I'm loose. I'm fine. I should probably turn it up a little bit. Oof. Already off to the races with this good music. All right. That screeching noise, is that your voice? I suppose it's to be expected. You didn't have to do me like that, Kristoff. You didn't have to do me like that! Your first trial, and it's a homicide. I guess justice doesn't start small, eh? I'm fine! I got up at 5 a.m. to do my Chords of Steel voice workout. I'm fine. Ah, that explains it. I did detect a certain rasping quality to your screech. I overdid it again. So it's not this one that's 3D. It must be one of the further ones. As you know, your client today is a good friend of mine. I wouldn't want to let him down, if you get my drift. Drift gotten, sir. I'm all over that drift. As it happens, I dined with him last night, the night of the murder. We can't let this case fall through. Yes, I'm fine, sir. One more thing. Don't say you're fine quite so much. People might take you the wrong way. I'll be preparing our case. You might want to introduce yourself to the client. Christoph and the Guitar Guy brothers. Okay, here we go. Finally. Ooh, look at this. Attorney's badge. Oh, that is a little laggier than it was in investigations. Not too bad though. It's fine. 929XX3. All right. Well, we still have that. The sub basement at the Borscht Bowl Club. Bro, that looks like Sojiro from Persona 5. No! No, what's Futaba gonna do? What am I gonna do? Alright, let's read this. Shaddy Smith, age... who knows? Male, estimated time of death, April 17, between 1:45 a.m. and 2:15 a.m. Cause of death, cerebral hemorrhaging, resulting from blunt trauma to the forehead. Bro got hit in the head with a bottle and fucking died. What a loser. My first client, just standing in front of this guy makes me nervous. I like his hat. Oh, bro, look at that guy. Okay, maybe he doesn't look like Sojiro. He really looks like Sojiro in the black and white, but you know what? Looking at him front on, I don't know about that. My name's Apollo Justice. If it isn't clear already, I'm a new attorney. And today's my first trial. Not that I'm worried or anything. The defendant has been accused of, well, murder. My boss wants me to help him out, of course, and so do I. I mean, there's no way he did it. Not him. No way. Ooh, hello. Whoa. Good, morning? Morning. It's all up to you today. First trial. Nervous. Meeting him. Cardiac arrest. I think I'm supposed to say something. Help? So you're, Fine! I'm fine. Aw, thank you, big boss. 5-month streak already. Look at that. God damn.
How do you like your client?
Well, I really like his beanie. And he looks a little familiar. Mr. Fine, is it? I did remember you having an odd name. Well, we're off to a great start. Are you sure you're okay? I mean, with me? I mean, you know, as your lawyer, not anything other than that. Mr. Gavins is a top-notch defense attorney, and he's your friend. So why? You'll see. What? I'll see. You can do it. Be confident. I'm really sorry this happened to you. I mean, it's time, shall we? Yes, sir. Okay, I need to focus. First trial, here comes justice. Let's go. Let's get this guy acquitted. Yep, it's Mr. Payne, of course. And my beautiful judge. Oh, it's been ever so long.
Court is now in session.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense is, fine. I mean, ready, Your Honor. Mind going blank. Don't panic. Too late.
Your name was Mr. Justice? And this is your first trial?
Yes, Your Honor. But I'm fine, really.
Are you quite sure? Your voice sounds a bit strained. Mr. Gavin?
Yes, Your Honor.
I was under the impression that you would be heading up this case.
That was my intention, yes. However, a defense attorney must always cede to his client's wishes. And my client specifically requested Mr. Justice.
Well, of course he wants justice. But to entrust this case to a greenhorn, why? I do not exaggerate when I say that you're the best defense attorney in town, Mr. Gavin.
Okay. Whew. So Gavin's got trial experience, fine. But does he have cords of steel? It's gonna be what I look like when I get older. What? Pain? Better not be.
Then let's begin. The defendant may enter the courtroom. Tis. This is truly an unfortunate turn of events. I'm sorry we had to meet again under these circumstances. Long time no see, Mr. Wright.
Well, they really didn't waste any time. Yeah, that's Phoenix Wright. I kind of knew it got spoiled for me a little bit, because when I was getting, like, thumbnail stuff, it did get a little spoiled, but they didn't really waste any time revealing it, so there you go. Probably got really under his skin that, you know, Gavin was called the best attorney in the town, you know. Let's put the past behind us, shall we? These days, I'm merely Phoenix Wright, piano player. What? We never played piano? Mr. Wright, how could this have happened?
I won't speak of it further, then. If the prosecution would be so kind as to explain the charges. Mr. Payne.
To think, I saw you enter this room a fresh attorney, and now I'll see you leave in chains.
Winston Payne, subtle as ever, I see.
Ahem. The crime occurred at the Borscht Bowl Club, a Russian restaurant. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, took the victim, a customer, and hit him. Wham! The head, smack, killed him cold.
A customer at a restaurant, you say? I am now hungry. Bailiff, bring me some macaroni and cheese. That one's a callback. And the defendant, you say he was...
The pianist for the club, it seems.
The what? The penis for the club? Oh, pianist. He did say he was a piano player. Phoenix Wright. A pianist?
This is the weapon that took the victim's life, a bottle of grape juice.
That's fucking wine, dude.
Well, wine is a form of grape juice, Your Honor. Grape juice is apparently our defendant's drink of choice.
The court accepts the deadly bottle as evidence.
Meaning.
Something to note, Justice. All evidence is filed in the court record. Make a practice of checking it frequently. Yeah. I kind of maybe do need, like, a proper refresher because I was playing investigations. Well, the bottle's completely empty, which, is not so good for my dying throat. Whee! Grape juice. How long has it been since I drank grape juice? Apparently, it's Mr. Wright's favorite drink. I wonder how well it goes with borscht. Court record. Right, I've heard of that. Well, it's mentioned like somewhere in like page like 72 of the lawyer handbook. Yeah, no damage. That's true. No damage to it. It didn't smash, which is interesting. Use R1 to look at the evidence so far. I'm confident in your ability to handle this. Right. Just use R1. Well, sounds like it's time for some hands-on action.
So, the victim was a customer at this restaurant. But just who was this, Shady Smith, Who was this Shady Smith fellow? He wasn't shady, was he?
We believe he was a traveler, Your Honor.
A traveler?
According to his passport, he had been out of the country for a number of years. He had only returned to this country recently, though his place of residence is unclear.
And he had some sort of connection with the defendant?
And that too is unclear at the present, Your Honor. We believe they first met at the Borscht Bowl Club on the night of the crime.
If they had only just met, then why murder? Perhaps the victim slighted the defendant's piano playing?
That doesn't appear to have been the case. No, the motive had nothing to do with the defendant's lack of playing skill. At least, not piano playing. I'll let this photo explain what I mean. As we can see, a game of poker was in progress at the scene of the crime.
Wait a second. I know how to play poker. That guy lost because he got hit on the head and died. Isn't poker gambling? That's a crime in of itself.
Indeed, it appears our defendant has fallen to become the Bassett sort of criminal.
It's true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. Yet it was only that, a game, in the purest sense. A competition, Your Honor.
Competition?
Yeah, not all poker games are for gambling. Like, what? And you got like 1 million casinos. Yes, a test of wits, a silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs wreathed in blue flame. Well, no, it's fine. I'll come.
Come again.
The cards on the table had blue backs, Your Honor.
The judge is the one who said Belatra needs a Peggy 18 rating. Bruh. Objection! It's just a game. No. No gambling involved.
I believe the defense was waxing poetic in an attempt to mystify those present and impress women.
Well, that will be our first order of business here then. Chicks. To find out more about this fatal game of cards.
Papa.
See it? No. I love that hat, though. I would love that beanie. I love the colors on it.
Very well, defendant. You will testify to the court about poker. The competition held on the night of the crime.
Well, my pleasure. This is it. My first trial. Here goes nothing. Would Phoenix really lie to the court, though?
I'm probably well versed.
Pianist by trade, yet I can hardly play at all. My real job is to take on interested customers over to the poker table. The room where we play and the competition, and there are the club's main attractions. The rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. That's all it is, a game. And our customers are happy.
A pianist who can't play piano?
Better than a defense attorney who can't defend.
Oh, that was down low!
I think it was up high. High five! Very well, the defense may begin the cross-examination.
Right, Your Honor. My first cross-examination? Don't blow it! Are you alright? You're sweating bullets. Bullets? Where? It's a figure of speech, Justice. Your voice sounds strained and raspy, too. My brain feels strained and raspy, sir. You've watched me perform cross-examinations many times, though you've never done one yourself, have you? Care for a refresher? Mia 2.0. Well, he's a lot less hot, but I like him. I hope he's guilty soon. I hope he's a villain in 2 seconds. No thanks. I don't need it. No need for help here, sir. I think I got this one covered. If there's one thing I do remember how to do, it's cross-examinations. They did not let up. That was the main thing. Investigations. I think you better do more than you think. You know it, or you do not. I'm fine. The cords of steel are ready for battle. My weapons, press and present. Find any inconsistencies, any lies in the testimony, and reveal them to the court. That is a cross-examination. Learn it, know it, do it. Inconsistencies? Lies? Phoenix, Wright? Those words don't go together. Sure, maybe he bluffs and makes educated guesses, but not inconsistencies or lies. Oh wait, they're synonyms. As if Phoenix Wright would never lie, and it's up to me to prove it.
The defense may begin the cross-examination.
I thought Big Boss meant, like, he's, like, just your superior defense. To teach you the ropes. To give you the lowdown. Before you strike out on your own. Ooh, look at that. A pianist by trade, huh, Mr. Phoenix Wright? You can hardly play? No, I'd play sometimes, when customers demand it. So I play them one song. Yeah, that's usually all they want. Is that supposed to be a boastous now? The title of, pianist is a mask. A respectable face I would wear for the world at large.
Then why are you really at the Borscht Bowl Club?
Is it just me, or do I have much less attempts to get things wrong? They pay you just to play poker? That would seem to be the case. I am a professional, after all.
Bah! Do I detect pride in that statement? It's just hard for an honest, hard-working member of society like me to imagine.
Yeah, your imagination was always a bit limited, Winston.
What?
I played poker for 7 years in that little room. And I've never lost. Once. What? You see why the customers come now? Defeat the undefeated poker champion. It's quite a draw. That is, I'm quite a draw. Wait, you've never lost once? Not even one time? As I said, I'm a professional. Just like me never losing a defense case, though that's probably my tragic backstory in this game since I'm now playing poker for a living. He's played poker for 7 years and not lost once. Is that even possible? The room in the crime scene photo is an attraction? Oh, it has quite a history, actually. Oh yeah, you're right. We did do a proper lose. But that was by choice. The Borscht Bowl Club used to be a gathering spot for black market types back in the day. Black market. Oh, in the past, things like the black market are only in the silver screen these days. Yeah, he's ungodly lucky at Balatro, yeah. This man has nothing else to do but play Balatro all day. Suffice it to say, there were a lot of deals being made under the table. Right there in that room.
A smoky room, gambling hoods, you know. Just looking at this picture makes me feel bad.
The bosses gather around the table, cutting deals safe from the eyes of the law. Meanwhile, a goon keeps watch through a small window. And I can practically picture it now. That window does look like it would be good for keeping a lookout. The room had a few other tricks to it, though it was common knowledge to our regulars. At any rate, they came to play poker in a room steeped in history. Despite the dark past, it was all just good, clean fun. Hold it! 2 decks of cards? A simple measure to prove cheating, or prevent cheating. If you alternate 2 decks, no one can slip in cards.
There's something else I noticed. In addition to the cards on the table, there are some lying scattered on the floor.
Precisely. Cards on the table, cards upon the floor, each one forming a complete deck. A crime scene painted in blue by a sweep of sad cards. It's poetic, really. Incidentally, we use 2 types of cards at the club. One deck of cards was red, the other was blue.
Red fish, blue fish. Phoenix Wright is a lying motherfucker. As I recall, in poker, you make a 5-card hand. I can see how it would be easy to cheat.
Yeah, a game of hands.
This competition you're talking about. I believe the court understands the nature of the game sufficiently.
That's right. It was a simple game after all.
Are you sure?
Uh-huh.
People are not murdered over simple games, Mr. Justice. Defendant, you were in the room the very moment the crime occurred, yet you claim no connection to the crime?
Now that's strange.
Well, what's strange?
I was testifying about the competition that night. Asking me about the crime at this point is against the rules, Your Honor. Of course, I expected to hear a cry of objection from the defense.
I completely let that one slip by.
Don't despair yet, Justice. Sir? Right. There's something I'd like to make clear. Namely, your connection to the case at hand. And I'd like to hear it from you. Sure, why not?
Very well, the defendant will amend his testimony.
Just one little press, and I've got myself a whole new testimony. I plead silence regarding the murder, but I will say I never touched the murder weapon. Well, it has your prints on it, dog. Opening objection! So you say you didn't touch the murder weapon? This grape juice bottle? Right? That is my name. So I said.
Something the matter, Mr. Justice?
Look at my beautiful flowing hair! How I've let it grow! Oh, I'm so beautiful. Too bad our new defense attorney never learned how to play dumb.
What's this, Mr. Payne?
I examined the bottle in question, you see.
Don't take my thunder!
And it's covered with the defendant's fingerprints.
Well, you see, those were planted. Definitely planted. Objection!
No need to shout, Mr. Justice. I can hear you just fine.
Excess yelling can damage the judge's ears in our case. But what about my cords of steel? Anyway, what's so strange about fingerprints on a bottle in a restaurant?
Well, that is true. The prints alone don't prove...
Oh, they wouldn't prove a thing if they were normal fingerprints.
Huh?
But the fingerprints on the murder weapon were upside down.
Upside down? What does that mean?
It means it was holding the bottle inverted. There's only one reason for that. Yes, to brain someone with a bottle.
Mr. Gavin, I think things just took a turn for the worse.
Oh, I see no problem, Justice. The only thing that matters is the truth. There's a good reason for everything. You'll see. Defendant, can you explain your fingerprints on this bottle to the court?
Nah, I don't feel like it. Oh man, it feels good to be a witness, finally. I can lie and lie and lie and nobody can call me out on it. And if they do, I don't even get a slap on the wrist. I stand by my plea of silence regarding the murder. For now.
Not very cooperative, are you? This could hurt your case.
I'm sure he's uncooperative because he's hiding something. There must be some reason.
Your Honor, you seem to have forgotten something.
And what might that be, Mr. Gavin?
On the night of the crime, who was it who reported the murder to the police?
Reported?
Well, that was the defendant, Mr. Wright, but still, that...
Really?
Yes, well, according to the case file, the murder was reported from near the scene by a call from the defendant's cell phone.
Near the scene?
Let's take a look at the diagram of the murder, shall we? The victim was murdered in a small room in a basement 2 floors down from the ground level. Of course, cell phones can't get reception so far down. The defendant used the stairs in this hallway to go above ground.
Ugh.
The call came from the first floor of the restaurant.
I see. And this is the phone that made the call?
Wright's cell phone. Used by the defendant to notify the police from the restaurant's first floor. The defendant could have just fled the scene of the crime if he so chose. Yet he fulfilled his duty as a citizen and reported it to the authorities. And you claim he is being uncooperative?
Ew.
Nice save, Mr. Gavin. Better not waste this. I think the prosecution has toyed with our client. Enough for the time being.
Toyed? I assure you, no one is more serious about...
What was it that you said? The defendant was in the room the very moment the crime occurred? How can you possibly know this?
That's a good question. How indeed?
Edgeworth bursted. What happened? I've been gone for 2 months and this is what happens? You're a pianist for 7 years? What is going on? The answer is simple, Your Honor. The prosecution has a decisive witness.
You're as good as they say you are.
So someone else was in the room the night of the crime. Probably our murderer! Unless it's a main character, and then probably not. That must mean they witnessed the crime. Everything up until now has just been a warm-up, Justice. Are you ready?
Very well. Very well. The prosecution may call its first witness to the stand.
The witness will state her name and profession.
Hold on just a moment. Where's the witness? All I see is a pot of stew.
I surmise that she's been frightened by the defense's demonic-looking horns.
But these are my cool hair spikes. I mean, I can't get them to go down. They just pop back up whenever I push them.
It's just... I can't do anything about it.
So I used a little hair gel. Relax, people.
Have no fear. If any horns point in your direction, this court will cut them off.
Are you sure?
I swear it on my gavel. Please, come out.
Yeah, he's got his stomach on the mind. Is it violence against hair a crime, Your Honor?
Well, if you are sure it's okay.
Now, the prosecution. Wait a minute. Would the prosecution care to explain the witness's, paraphernalia?
Yes. She's a professional, Your Honor. These are merely the tools of her trade.
And that would be?
My name is Olga Orley. I'm an employed waitress at Borscht Bowl Club restaurant.
Then why the camera?
Of course, it is my pride to serve borscht. That is naming restaurant. But I also perform, how is it said, other service.
Blow jobs in the back? Okay. Not guilty, not guilty. Let's go to Borscht, everybody. On the judge. I take it one of these other services is taking the customers' pictures.
Da-da! Like, for example, this one.
They are yapping.
That's the defendant.
Indeed, on the night of the murder.
Man in white hat is one who has gone kaput.
Indeed. That is the victim. Order, order.
There are no cards, though? Listen, that was... He was talking to him from the piano. The cards happened in a different room.
This is quite a piece of evidence to casually drop into our laps.
Same way as I drop cold bowls of borscht on the laps of customers casually.
Then the court will casually accept this new evidence.
Yeah, this is before they went to the room. Also, I see how his fingerprints get on the bottle. Upside down, upside down. He could grab it by the neck while he's working on the piano. See, look. If he's working on if he's playing his little song. If he's playing his little song and he wants to get a drink, he will reach down and grab the bottle upside down. That just seems natural. And then he'd, flip it up, crack it open.
Now, witness, where were you at the time of the murder?
I was in room, the hideout, we call it.
Excuse me,
Hideout? It's a room where famous gangster bad guy was arrested. It's a room where murder took place.
What?
You look of utter surprise, it is lovely. I will post it by courtroom door later for you. Dada, photos will be numbered and you will write which ones you want copy of.
So there were 3 people in the room at the time of the crime? The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and Olga Orley, our witness. And if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, that means...
Very well, witness. You will testify to the court about the night's events.
So I killed him with bottle and then blame it on Mr. Wright because I have mittens, so no fingerprint. That night customer asked me to deal cards for game. It was cold. Both players played with hats on. Duh. The victim, he plays whole time with his hand on a locket at his neck. Then last hand is done. But something terrible has happened, duh. That man flew at the victim and is strangling him to death.
Wrong?
You know, I could point out that lie, but I think I'll let the defense do it. Incidentally, who won the game?
Isn't it obvious? The winner was the victim, Mr. Smith.
That's ridiculous! Because Mr. Wright can't lose! Justice, maybe you can come up with a more legitimate objection? But he hadn't lost in 7 years.
Take it from me, kid. It happens. I didn't lose a case my first 7 years as a prosecutor either. And then Phoenix Wright comes along. Incidentally, I have some evidence here. These are the poker chips as they lay at the very moment of the crime. The hand and chips on this side belong to the defendant, Mr. Wright. Those cards on the far side belong to the victim, Mr. Smith.
Chips, you say?
Duh! I mean, yes, imagine that poker is war. Your hand is your army, and the chips are the spoils.
I know that, after all. In my youth, I was known as the poker head of courtroom number 3.
I think he means poker face.
Looking at this picture, it does seem that most of the chips are on the victim's side of the table.
Ugh.
Very well, the defense may cross-examine the witness.
Cross-examination.
That night, customer asked me to deal decks of cards for game. It was called What Players Played with Hats On, the victim, he plays whole time with his hands on the locket at his neck. Then last hand is done, but something terrible has happened, the that man flew at the victim, strangling him to death.
Do you think I'm stupid because I'm new at this?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Objection!
Oh, really? Strangled, you say? Well, that's odd.
The normal customer is only choke and borscht.
No, I mean this report that shows the victim died of a blow to the head. Miss Orley, really now? Did you witness the crime? Oh, that was clean.
Well, I can see where this is going. Phoenix Wright is innocent. This lady is guilty. I've seen enough trials. Looking at the picture, it doesn't seem like it was a hit. He's still wearing his hat and everything.
Yet it's a fact that he was hit, Your Honor. Here's the photo we took of the victim with his hat off during our investigation.
Oh my god! He's bald like me! Now I have a connection to the case too. Well, that's quite shocking, isn't it? This head certainly was hit, and it certainly is bald!
But I have seen it happen. The defendant, he lunged at victim, his neck.
Oh, really, Miss Orley? I think I've caught you in your own lie this time. Justice, I admire your enthusiasm, but perhaps you should think this through once more. What do you mean? I found a contradiction. There's one thing in her testimony that troubles me.
Very well. It seems we should continue the cross-examination.
There's such a thing as thinking too much. This horse is dead. Let's stop beating it. That's what they said 7 years ago, but we keep making Ace Attorney games. I mean...
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I'm joking. I'll play 1,000,000 Ace Attorney games before I let this company die. Ugh. Deal cards. Played with hats on. But he doesn't... Yeah, but he didn't have his hat on when he got hit. It's already April. How could it be cold?
At the Borscht Ball Club, we have pride on authentic rustic Russian restaurant theme. Outside it is city in spring, but inside it is always as cold as Mother Russia.
No way I'm going there.
When it comes to hot borscht, cold is best seasoning, yeah?
Da 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 da. Is that a drink? Oh, no. I was like, is there a secret hidden drink under my freezer that I forgot about? Nope. Sad. How do I feel about the new colors for the courtroom? It's nice. I like how everything looks. Oopsies. I just dripped water over my pants. You guys did that. I only get 5 tries.
How exactly are the evidence and statement now related?
They aren't, are they?
Not at all.
But he was hit on the head, and she says that he wore a hat the whole time, but he can't have been wearing the hat when he got hit, otherwise the hat would have some type of damage inflicted on it, but there's no damage inflicted on it.
Please, those statements hardly relate to each other, you fool.
I don't think that won me any points with the judge. Hand on locket at his neck. Hold it! Let me know about this. His, locket?
I believe it was good luck charm, duh. He gripped it many times as he played that night.
Yes, he must have felt as though it might carry him to the moon and the stars. Though if it were small enough to fit around his neck, it wouldn't have much lift.
The defense would like a clarification. This is a locket we're talking about? I mean, a pendant with a picture in it, right? Not a rocket?
Of course I knew that! Probably a pendant shaped like a rocket. That's why she called it that.
No, a locket's a locket. It doesn't matter what shape it. It's considered bad form to poke fun at the hard of hearing in our society. Hard of hearing or hard of understanding?
So what happened next?
After defendant... Okay. You didn't say anything about hitting before.
This is so sorry. I must be forgetting this, duh.
Witness, you will take greater care with your testimony.
Oh, Dada, I am sorry, Your Honor.
And that clears up the discrepancy with the autopsy report, I believe. The defendant made to strangle his victim and changed his mind. And chose a simpler, blunter means to do the job. Yes, that sums it up nicely.
So we strangled him and then hit him? Something's fishy about all this. Go ahead. I believe you know what it is you need to do. Right, sir. Leave it to me. There are only 3 people in that room at the time of the murder. The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and... If Mr. Wright isn't the killer... I've got you now, Worley. I have you now! Oh, look, the pendant's gone. You know, there was one curious part about her testimony, just like Mr. Gavin said. But what does it mean?
Mr. Justice, would you care to explain what it is you're thinking so intensely about?
Recall the testimony, Your Honor. The victim played with his hand on locket at his neck, I believe she said.
I hope you aren't about to raise an objection to the witness's grammar.
No, but look at this photograph. Do you see a locket on the victim's neck? Well done, Justice. I'm impressed. Yes, I did drink, yes. I knew you'd be able to handle this. But what does it mean?
Well, if we are to believe this witness' testimony as is, then the locket disappeared following the victim's death.
Lockets don't just disappear, Your Honor. It's quite simple when you think about it. If the locket's gone, someone must have taken it off. No? Taken it off? Oh, wait, you don't mean... The defendant wasn't strangling the victim at all. He was taking off his locket. Wouldn't that explain it? Yeah, I'm glad we're back to black and white photos. The colors are too much for the judge.
Defendant, what do you have to say to this?
Well, they're right. It was my locket.
Say,
Yeah.
I just noticed this, but you have something hanging around your neck, don't you?
No? You mean this? Yes, it's a locket with a photograph inside. A photo of my daughter.
What?
He is a dad? Wait a minute. Who did you fuck, Phoenix? Tell me now. Who is it? Come again?
Mr. Wright, you have a daughter?
We confirmed it at the time of the arrest. The picture in the locket is indeed Mr. Wright's daughter.
So Mr. Wright has a locket too? Oh, why don't I buy that? It's just a coincidence.
Well, now, if the result of this poker game led to the murder, perhaps we should hear a bit more about the outcome of this game.
Further testimony won't really be necessary. It's clear the defendant lost badly.
Miss Orley, you will testify to the court about the game played between the victim and the defendant.
Whoever the mother is gonna make Edgeworth pissed. I think Edgeworth is about to fucking hire a hitman. Bro's gonna hire the killer to fucking get his husband back. I wonder who it is. I've got a suspicion. Edgeworth is the mother. Bam, bam, bam.
The game began with 3,500 pointing chips for each man. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. Man who was winning thought it was victim. For last time, defendant play with all chips on table and lose. Moment lost was decided. Defendant grab bottle from table and
Does seem to be a one-sided game.
As the court knows, poker was the defendant's life. Failure must have been a bitter pill to swallow.
How many times have I heard these words? I done it in a fit of anger, Your Honor, and now I regret what I done. A common tale, but true.
Methinks the judge watches too many old court movies. Mr. Wright said he hasn't lost in 7 years, so this testimony must be wrong. You think it's Pearls? But Pearls isn't Phoenix's daughter. They confirmed that it was his daughter. I thought that that would mean biologically, right? But if it is Pearls, that's very sweet. If they adopted Pearls. That's very, very sweet. It is an option? I don't know, I took it as it was his biological daughter. So I guess we'll find out. I mean, I guess that doesn't really necessarily mean it is his. But we'll see, we'll see. In that case, if it is adoption, then he doesn't even have to have a partner. A partner! House chips come in two sizes, small and large. The one who was winning was the victim. The last hand, defendant played with all chips on the table and lose. When the loss was decided, defendant grabs the bottle from the table and... Okay. I was just trying to see if there's any chips on the floor or anything. Well, I'm guessing he was moved. I'm guessing Phoenix played in the chair on the right, and he played in the chair on the left. I'm guessing it's reversed, and that explains the discrepancy. Last hand?
It was largest points of any hand. Defendant's hand had the defendant's hand, it was excellent. He tried to use it to take victory from behind.
Appears that both the defendant and the victim's hands are in this picture. That is truly an excellent hand. However, so is the victim's.
But the highest number wins, so defendant loses.
The victim, Mr. Smith, had a stronger hand than the defendant and crushed him. I believe that explains what occurred next.
Once cards laid down on table, it happened.
And what happened next?
Even to think of it now, I shake and tremble. I did not believe such thing would happen.
What such thing?
Please, you must believe. I had no idea. How could such thing occur?
What such thing?
Niet. The defendant had been eating his victim. I saw it all happen right before me. I saw bottle coming down on victim's head.
Decisive, isn't it, Your Honor? My witness saw the very moment of the crime.
Remember, your first goal is to gather information.
Look out, contradiction. Here comes justice.
Are those the usual starting points? Were any special rules used?
No, not special. Usual game, usual rules.
Each man begins with 3,500 points. Then the total of that would be... exactly 7,000 points.
Yeah, I was about to object to that one, Your Honor. God. Come on. Please, this isn't calculus. It's not even long division.
Those chips come in two sizes, small, large.
Yeah, that seems right. Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used?
Of course.
Something's fishy with these chips. Should I press harder? Maybe you could explain a bit about these chips?
Explain? What is there to explain?
Poker chips are poker chips. They're not fishing chips, not a chip off the old block, not a motorcycle cop, and...
Thanks. Now I'm hungry. Now that I've pressed her, I better ask something. What are these chips worth? Are they in dollars? Rubles even?
Yet, as I've been saying before, it was game, not gambling. Hard perhaps for capitalists to understand. Two types of chip, 100 points chip and 1,000 point chip.
Okay. So Phoenix has 1,400. And he's got 3, 6, 9,000 points? Wait a minute. Wait a second here. 9,000 points? That doesn't seem right. Wait a moment. It's only supposed to be 7,000.
It's not money, Dad.
Justice, would you find her comment interesting? More ways than one, sir. I'd have it added to her testimony myself.
Well, does the defense want the witness to add it to her testimony?
Yes, I do think this deserves further scrutiny. Add it to the testimony. I wish I knew where I was going with this. Don't worry, Justice. I got this one.
Well, witness, if you would be so kind.
Your Honor.
But doesn't this photo look fucked up to you? You're sure it was the victim who won? Absolutely sure.
Seems our new attorney's a bit confused. A glance at this picture is enough to tell you who won. If you're not in kindergarten.
Just for safety's sake, could you explain the problem to the court?
Of course, Your Honor. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, which were worth 1,000 points?
Why, the big ones, of course.
Oh, I thought so too. But then the totals don't add up.
Yeah, the totals.
Let's review what the witnesses told us. Each man started with 3,500 points in chips, and the combined total value of the chips was 7,000 points.
Yes, if my calculations are correct. Let's see. 3 plus 1, carry the 5, add the turnips, minus the price of ketchup in today's economy. How much is a single banana? Bailiff, do you know how much?
They are, Your Honor. Now, look at this photo that allegedly shows all the chips. If the big chips are worth 1,000 points and the small chips are worth 100, and you add them up...
How much is it?
Do it yourself. You aren't in kindergarten, are you? 10,600 points. The chips don't add up. This clearly contradicts the witness testimony.
But why? How could this be?
Exactly, Justice. Now that you know the what, you must determine the why. Right. There's only one possible way to explain the contradiction. Oh, the chip count was wrong, I guess. The odd thing here is the number of chips. Right, Mr. Gavin? Why are you asking me?
Just in case.
Justice, it's your case I'm concerned about. If you're wondering about the chips, just look at the photograph. It's all there. Even our judge has his failing eyesight. That's not the only thing failing the judge.
Let me ask you again.
The starting points were wrong?
Couldn't it be like...
They were fucking planted? Hey, foolproof. Both were right. This calculation makes the answer clear. The total combined points at the table was 10,600, then each man started the night with 5,300 points. Yeah, God forbid anybody, like, mess with the fucking poker chips and make it look like somebody else won. You know, I guess that's that theory out of the fucking window. You P-ranked Gnome Forest just because you really like the music? Very good, very good. We gotta get back to P-ranking Pizza Tower at some point.
5,300? That's a rather half-baked score at which to start a game.
Justice, would different starting points really change anything? Huh?
Seems the defense's objection was even more half-baked than the score.
No. Time to head back to the kitchen. Both were right. Okay, maybe my theory is right. This Thursday, the 16th, could be the day. I saw that. I did see that. Yeah. Apparently, that's the new sayings. That's the new goings-on. Is that it's gonna get revealed on the 16th. I P-ranked exploring your house while you were gone. I P-ranked your mother while you were gone. Each man began the game with 3,500 points. If all the chips are indeed shown in this photograph, then there can only be one answer.
Well, what is it?
The value of the chips was the other way around. Oh. So then he has 4,100, and he has 3, 6, okay, so 2,900. Ah. Just wait till it's confirmed. But we can't, Laser. There's 1,000 leaks a minute. I'm excited for Switch 2, okay? Let me fucking theorize and be all up in that biz, alright? We've been waiting 7 years for a new console. 8 years this year, right? So,
Let me be excited.
What?
Want to know what I think? The small chips were worth 1,000 points, not the big ones.
Madness! Utter madness!
Tell me that photograph of the chips again. There are 6 small chips and 10 large chips. Why, that does make 7,000 points when you add them up.
Excellent work, Justice. It's almost as though you figured it out by yourself. Well, actually, I thought people, messed with the game, but, it's fine. Well, I'm just glad I was the one who said it.
But wait! The value of the chips may be different, but that changes nothing!
Indeed, the victim did not have the large number of chips still. Wait, but he did!
Exactly. If the small chips are 1,000 points and the large chips are 100, let's do a little math. Add up the points for each side of the table.
The victim, Mr. Smith, had 2,900 points and the defendant had 4,100 points.
Well now, it seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all.
That's impossible.
My client had even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning. Now, Miss Orley, you must have known the true value of the chips, since you were there at the scene of the crime, weren't you?
Order! Order! It appears our defendant has lost his motive, and Mr. Wright's supposed defeat never happened. We must now ask ourselves whether we can trust the witnesses. Excuse me? What is it, Miss Orley?
I did not want to be saying this, but actually, you see,
See what, Miss Orley? What do we see?
in the last hand, there was cheat.
Cheat? You don't mean a trick?
Wait, what do you mean? A scam!
They're all the same thing.
Yes, there was cheat in last hand. That is why game ends with chips as they are.
Great, just great. First we have lying, now cheating. This case certainly has taken a turn. For the interesting.
Witness, will you please testify to the court? Tell us about this cheating in the final hand.
Final hand, the final hand.
Last hand, both men had full house. There is 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. Next moment, game becomes argument. The defendant's trick was exposed. He took bottle in his hand. Poor Mr. Smith.
Can somebody explain to me what that even means? I'm not so well versed in poker. Miss Orley, why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? I thought I smelled a cover up here. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers.
A full house is a very high-scoring hand. Not easy to make, in my experience.
I thought you said you never played poker, Your Honor. I thought you said it was a crime.
Well, shut up!
That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics.
Mr. Gavin, what's a full house?
Lawyers these days, you don't know your poker?
Why would I? I'm in law.
I can't say this bodes well for your case or career.
What? What is this? Some kind of secret court poker ring? Justice, everyone here in the courtroom is a big fan of Balatro. I would advise you to go home, purchase, download, and then play it for 10 hours and come back to us. I'll handle the rest of the court case. You know the terms. 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 of a kind, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. 2 cards with the same number makes a pair, and 3 makes a 3 of a kind. Good. Now picture a hand with 1 pair and 1 of a 3 of a kind. Okay. 1 pair and 1 3 of a kind. That's a full house. All right. I get it. Okay. All right. That's a full house. That doesn't sound very easy to make, does it?
You can see each player's hand in this photo.
And they do indeed both have full houses.
We forget there's an easy way to make a full house and go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat.
Isn't there only 2 kings in a pack, though?
Oh, wait, but there were 2 separate card decks. Right. So there should be 4 kings. I love gambling.
You cheat.
The defense may cross-examine the witness.
If he did cheat in the last hand, that still leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. There's a king for each symbol, so 4? Oh. I already exclaimed I don't know anything about cards. Why are you surprised? I don't know anything. So there should be 8 kings then. 2 packs of cards. Who's ever heard of a professional con man losing when they cheat? Listen, guys, I will learn about it when we play Balatro, okay? I already have it downloaded. I'll learn all of the ins and outs when we get to finally playing it, okay? Okay. I own it right now. I just haven't played it yet. If I knew it was a prerequisite to the first case in Ace Attorney Apollo, then maybe I would have.
Last time both men had full house. There is 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. The next moment the game becomes argument, the defendant's trick was exposed. He took bottle in his hand, the poor Smith.
Alright, let's see here. Ba 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 ba. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Sorry, the song is just too good. Sticking and dealing both men's hands. Cheat is more obvious. Next moment, game becomes argument time. Defendant's trick was exposed. How was it clear?
Well, the defendant, he played the 5th ace.
A 5th ace?
I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces.
Wait a minute.
Are you sure about that?
Mr. Wright's too.
Obviously, cheating was afoot. Or perhaps I should say, a hand.
Your Honor, perhaps this can be added to the testimony without Mr. Payne's joke.
Well, the witness will add this detail to her testimony.
Wow, just outright lying, straight to the court. No, that's wrong. No, waggle my finger back and forth, no. It appears the witness is mistaken.
Mistaken? But my name...
Look, this piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony.
That's the photo of the chips, is it not?
Justice, perhaps you ought to explain your point in a way that the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point.
Yes, please point out the contradiction in this photo.
Bum 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 bum. Hey. Miss Orley, in your testimony, you made the following claim. Mr. Smith's hand had 3 aces. But as you can clearly see, the victim's hand only held 2 aces!
Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the 3rd ace in question.
Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant also had 2 aces in his hand. Where's this 5th ace? I see cheating all right, and it's going on right here in this courtroom.
Nice one, Apollo. I like that one. 2 aces in each player's hand does make 4 aces total. Hardly proof of cheating.
But please, it is true. I have seen it, the 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you.
That's odd. She must be lying, yet she's the most sincere I've seen her all day. A right to trust your instincts. Mr. Gavin? Who knows what lies in store for us at the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion.
What might that be, Mr. Gavin?
If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards?
The cards?
I love this new frame of the judge. It looks so cute. Mr. Payne.
Well, yes.
The players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the court.
Very well. The prosecution will submit the evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's cards?
If these cards don't prove cheating was going on, nothing will. Well, I'm guessing the victim was cheating. It was the victim's hand that changed over the course of the witness's testimony. The defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's cards.
Very well. Mr. Payne, if you will.
Very well.
Well, time's a-wasting. Get to it, Justice. Yes, sir. When examining evidence, be sure to view it from all sides and angles. Yeah. Shut your yaps. Yeah. Uh-oh. There's a blue card. What? Your Honor, look at this. One of the victim's cards. The back is a different color.
That's impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand.
Was that Orley?
No, niet. I mean, said I have...
Your Honor.
Mr. Gavin. Yes?
Tell me, what's the easiest way to cheat in poker?
To cheat?
I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend, a comrade, shall we say. The dealer.
Ah!
Wait, so you mean... this witness, Miss Orley! She's the cheater. The professional, I'd wager.
Order!
Focus, Justice. Time to take advantage of her. I mean, of her mistake! Your Honor, you didn't hear my thoughts just now. Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard. Yep. Ergo, Miss Olga Orley conspired to cheat not with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shady Smith! Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim. What?
Wait, you don't mean the defense is Is it accusing the witness, Miss Olga Orley? Are you?
Time for justice! There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident. And if Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means... yeah, I am! The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga Orley, of murder!
Yay!
And... oh. It's gonna land on her head.
Mr. Payne, where is your witness, Miss Olga Orley?
Yeah, it appears she's lost him. Consciousness, Your Honor.
Mr. Justice,
Your Honor.
seems you presented a new possibility to the court. One suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith.
And that means...
This court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time.
What?
I did it! I held out!
I see no point in prolonging the trial this day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries.
Wait, really? We're gonna have an investigation for case 1? Really? Okay. We're gonna have an investigation day? That's unusual. I guess the tutorial cases have been getting longer.
Objection!
Or not. Mr. Wright? You can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet.
What nonsense is the defendant spewing now?
Think. One of the cards had a different colored back. Don't you wonder what it means?
What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous!
Mr. Payne, you of all people should know. Mr. Wright has a talent. For the ridiculous!
Hey! I heard that!
Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Let's clear up the facts about the game that fateful night.
As was said before, we alternated between 2 decks of cards that night.
That was said before.
The 2 decks at the club have different colored backs, blue and red. 1 color per deck. Why use different colored backs? Well, if we use the same color, the 2 decks might get mixed. Oh, you used different colors and they still got mixed up. Yeah, but you figured it out, you dunce! We used the red deck for the last game.
I see. Oh, but red is odd. For some reason, I have this impression that you were using the blue cards.
Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards.
What are you, wait, what?
What are you saying, Apollo? Is your memory that bad? What are you, a prosecutor? Or a judge? Come on, we just proved that they were cheating. She slipped in a blue card.
Whatever. In the end, one card got, the wrong color got into the mix. Which means there was cheating.
It's my memory that's failing? Oh, okay, well, good. Yeah, a card slipped into the deck would seem to indicate cheating. Yet, this card raises 2 serious questions. Apollo? Yes? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think, in the last game, when was the card swapped? When? There are 3 broad possibilities here. It could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder.
Well, yeah. Thanks for the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was
Oh? It might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne. Or it might not be. Okay, yeah. Wait, Phoenix and me are on the same wavelength. It got swapped after the murder, I think. To implicate that the victim won. Or it was Phoenix who won. And he got his fucking little necklace back. His little pendant. I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped? When was the card swapped into the deck? After! Perhaps it happened after the murder?
What's that? Ridiculous! What's the point of cheating after their hands had been shown? That's silly.
Well, think about it. If they're holding up cards normally, Phoenix would have saw the blue card instantaneously. They're colored. So if there is no indication of cheating to him, then it probably, you know, probably wouldn't have ended in murder. Objection! Yes, but tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible.
Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible.
Even when the backs of the cards are a different color. If you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time.
Ah!
Quite true. And that would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown. After the murder.
Okay, well, this is going past silly and straight on to crazy. Ask again, what's the point in cheating after the game's over?
To implicate that somebody was cheating, or that somebody won. To indicate that there was a possible altercation because of murder. You know, Mr. Payne.
Who would do that?
Who indeed? That's one of the mysteries before us.
There's another.
Achoo!
I'm allergic to bullshit.
Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for the blue card?
Who?
The game and murder is done. The victim is dead. Only two remain in the room. Alive, that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga Orley. Olga. Why, it must have been Olga Orley who swapped the cards. She was trying to cover up evidence of the cheating.
That does make some sense.
That does sound really strange, his new voice lines. Sorry, but there's a problem with that explanation. The swapped card was from the wrong deck.
Yes, a blue card was stuck into a red hand.
Mixing a card from the wrong deck when the backs are different colors? Remember that you're talking about Olga Orley. She was the dealer. You really think she would have made such a novice mistake? Actually, I have trouble imagining even the judge making that mistake. Give it a little more thought, Apollo. Right. Okay, so wasn't that swapped the red card for the blue? Well, I mean... Are you implicating that Phoenix did it? Phoenix, the one who swapped the cards was Mr. Wright? It was you, wasn't it? And why would I do such a thing? Because, maybe you were trying to hide the fact that you cheated?
That would make sense, but the swap card was in the victim's hand.
Oh. I'm a nice guy, but I'm not that nice. I wouldn't cheat for someone, you know. Come to think of it, he would lack a motive for helping his opponent to win. Someone else. The one who swapped the cards wasn't Mr. Wright, of course. And, well, it doesn't seem like it would be Olga Orley either.
What are you suggesting?
That's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. As the defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss Orley at this point. Yes, I know. Wait, that's what I already did! But she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe she would make the mistake of swapping the wrong color card.
If the card was swapped during the game, it would be obvious. Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright? Funny joke from earlier, perhaps?
Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I was just thinking how much fun this all is.
Fun? How about confusing? I've no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. If the one who swapped the card wasn't the defendant and it wasn't Miss Orley, then who was it?
Oh, was it the victim?
Yeah, well, that is the question, isn't it? Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction.
A new direction?
We'll find that, indeed, after the murder. Someone swapped around the cards in the victim's hand. And that someone made 2 critical mistakes. So you're going to tell us that the first was swapping the wrong color card? Because the one who did the swap didn't know 2 colors of cards were being used. The other mistake was the number on the card. Right. The person replaced the 5th ace with a king. I'm sure whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a 5th ace after all. All they knew was that the game had been won with a full house. So they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in.
But there's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist.
True, not until now, but you have to admit the possibility of a 4th person. Though it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime. I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright.
Well, I mean, it's the truth. I was there. I should know.
Who do we think did it? Well, this 4th mystery person, maybe.
This trial is proceeded on one central assumption, namely that at the time of the incident there were only 3 people in the room.
I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption?
The problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court.
Ah, come on, Judge. Like it hasn't happened before. Von Karma, Edgeworth, Miss Von Karma. Come on, everybody does it. I suppose that is a problem, yeah.
Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Cabin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess.
Certainly, Your Honor.
Very well, the trial will resume in 20 minutes.
That was quite unexpected, Mr. Wright. To suddenly claim there's another person at the scene of the crime like that. I must ask, is it the truth? Well now, I think you would know the answer to that. Being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I've no time for mysteries. I'd only ask that you leave the defending to your defense in the future. Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome. I see you haven't mellowed out just one bit, Kristoff. Justice. Yes, sir. The judge has summoned me to his chambers, so carry on without me. You did well, Apollo. Can I ask you something? Sure. That locket you wear, is that really yours, Mr. Wright? You're wondering about the victim's disappearing locket? Kristoff did say he was there. I don't think that happened. I think you might be creating evidence. Here, you can take a look at it. That's a picture of my daughter in there. Oh, see, it's not Pearl. It seems like it's his actual daughter. I'm just surprised to hear you had a daughter. Yeah, most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. One more question. The one who cheated that night, was it you? What do you think? Huh? You know what happened 7 years ago, what I did. It's not unreasonable for you to think I might cheat. Yeah, dinner with Wright before the victim arrived. Yeah. But I don't think it was confirmed it was at the Borscht place. It was just on the same night. I never... honest... but... It is odd that he managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years. Want to know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. Poker. Huh? You see, poker's all about reading your opponent. In that way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker is like a trial law? Figure out what your opponent's thinking and you win. Yeah, but that's harder than it sounds. Nah, I think not. Try as they might to conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. Their body language can become a valuable source of information. You're kidding! That witness, for instance, Miss Orley. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? No. Come on, who noticed that? Words, habits, twitches. It's all information for the reading. That's the secret to winning, Apollo. Someone taught me. Now, I pass the secret on to you. But I'm not worthy! I mean, there's no way I'll pick up on these signals. No, you can do it. Huh? You just don't know it yet. What's he yapping about? But you will. Soon. Ah, almost forgot. One more thing. About this case. You should know, I haven't told the truth to anyone yet. What? I knew it. I have my reasons, of course. All shall be revealed. And Apollo, I need you to be there, defending me. I need your power. My, power? I had no idea my cords of steel were that special. Mr. Wright, this isn't a Dragon Ball Z episode. It's time. You want to examine the evidence again? Between 1:45 a.m. and 2:15 a.m., April 17th, Shady Smith, mystery age, male. He was hit on the head. This is him, sleeping. Our funny bottle of grape juice that was apparently grabbed like this. But I think this is because Phoenix would have been grabbing it like that while he was playing piano. Here's his phone. Oh. Wow, the battery's being held in with that piece of tape. He should just buy a new one. Maybe he can't afford it. Or he just doesn't care. No clues here. The real trial begins now. Do your best. Tape on the back of the battery case is so real. That's so real. Too bad batteries are just inside of phones now, and you can't really get them out without taking the shell off. Continue on to next chapter? Yes. The other ones? Okay. Jeez. Alright. Fine. There. See, the way he plays the piano, or he's sitting, it would make sense that he grabs the bottle from the top. Or upside down. Two sevens, two aces, three kings, two aces. Cheaps. Bottle. Oh yeah, the blue deck is sitting right there. But would it be sitting right there if it wasn't in use? In the victim's other hand.
Court will now reconvene. Has our witness, Miss Olga Orley, recovered?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, she's regained consciousness.
Perhaps we can hear her version of the events again.
That's the thing. You see, she's quite fatigued.
You're looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne.
Certainly, fatigue is insufficient grounds for refusing to testify or prosecute. The defense would like to request that Miss Orley take the stand.
Very well. The witness will take the stand.
Perhaps you could repeat your name and profession? Or perhaps you'd rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poorer loser.
Not.
What?
Name's Olga Orley. That's the truth. I'm a pro dealer. People call me Olga Quickfingers Orley.
A faux Russian accent. Wouldn't have seen that one coming. She's a pirate.
Want to know something else? I'm not really Russian, and my last name sounds like O'Reilly. That's the truth. I hope you're satisfied.
Witness, you will tell the court what you were really up to that night.
Fine, I'll talk. We had a plan, see?
Let me remind you that you are currently under oath. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences.
Fine. Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy, Smith, hired me to do what I do best. I was planted at the Borscht Bowl Club several days prior to the night of the game. As a waitress.
So you were in cahoots with the victim?
Not that he needed my help. Smith is a well-known poker player in some circles. But winning wasn't the main purpose of this game. It was about destroying a legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright. The plan was simple, elegant, really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant the card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card and trap would snap shut.
Swap the cards.
Dispose of the cheater and lose it on top of it. It would have made a great double play. Just like that, the legend would have been dashed to pieces.
Indeed. Getting caught red-handed at cheating would cast doubt on all his prior wins.
7-year legend destroyed by one little card. That was the plan.
Oh, really, Orley? How droll. But it appears you made quite the mistake.
A mistake?
I agree, the trap was elegant. Yet what happened to the planted card? Hey, that's right!
He's lucky, I'll give him that. You'd have to slip free. You'd have to be to slip free from a quick trap laid by Olga Quickfingers Orley.
Oh, right. Yeah, oh, really?
Oh, really? The witness would be much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind shtick.
Okay.
Cute! Who wants to be cute? I'm not cute. I'm bad. You hear me? Bad.
And she is bad.
When you're through being bad, perhaps you could testify to the court. Tell us about this trap, and how it was sprung. And thusly unsprung.
That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost to the last hand, just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him. But the planted card was gone. The trap failed. Next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it. It wasn't me who hit Smith. It was the no-good cheating defendant.
A surprisingly frank testimony that still leaves us mostly in the dark.
The trap was perfect, I tell you, perfect. That rotten cheater had messed it up.
Look who's talking.
Well, the testimony, for what it's worth, is all yours, Mr. Justice.
If the card was planted on Wright, you're guessing Wright found out? It would mean that he got rid of it, but how? He took it out of his pocket and threw it on the fucking ground? What the fuck? He eated it. He eated it. It's just a card. This card's everywhere. You could have just fucking thrown it on the ground. Put it under his shoe? Something like that? Boo! Hey, for none. With defendants like Mr. Wright, who needs prosecutors? Well, Laser, you forget, there's a bunch of cards on the ground. Sees? Could have easily just thrown it on the ground. And who said it was a blue card that she snuck into his pocket? Unless it was. No, because he didn't. Well, actually, I don't know. Lose the glasses, Fernand! This is all reading! What are you trying to do? Yeah, she was supposed to be on Wright, and then we debunked that it wasn't her that placed the blue card. That's when the whole fourth person thing came in. Now his memory's failing. Yeah, but everybody was like, oh, she wouldn't have known that. She would have known that there was two different colors, and that if it was caught, then they would be caught. Because she was the dealer. Yes, she planted that card, but not the card in his hand. Not the blue one. They literally already went over this, Laser. What are you yapping about? I gotta get close to the screen so I can fucking read it without my glasses. Thanks. Thanks, Fernand. You do this and then leave. She wasn't the one who planted it in the victim's deck because she was the dealer. She would have known it was blue. So if she was trying to plant one in Phoenix's pocket, it would have had to have been a red one. So if Phoenix threw it on the floor and the cards on the floor were red, then, you know.
Alright. That night I planted a card like I was supposed to.
Wait, hold on, I gotta set a timer. Hey, Google! Set 5-minute timer. Thank you.
And Wright lost the last hand just like it was supposed to. Then Smith searched it. The planted card was gone. The trap failed.
Go.
Card. It disappeared? Yeah, my trump card. The 5 of hearts. Gone. Without a trace. Poof! Zippo! We searched every nook and cranny. Even inside his cute little hat.
Card was nowhere to be found, correct? Wait, if he won, then who cares? Is Phoenix retired, or does he just gamble now? Oh, yeah. He's retired, so he just gambles. Yes, exactly right. Sorry, I lied.
Never in my long, storied career, never has quick fingers orally been so readily duped.
Really? So, what did happen to the 5 of hearts?
Don't look at me. Why don't you ask the cheating, lying, two-faced defendant?
The 5 of hearts is still missing in action. Kidding. 7 of hearts, 7 of diamonds, 7 of clubs. Ace of hearts, ace of clubs.
Next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it.
Hold that thought. Wait, isn't that a little odd? What's up? You searched Mr. Wright thoroughly and found nothing? Which means he didn't cheat, which means he had no reason to strike the victim. Well... Oh. What was that just now? I sensed something.
Something wrong, Mr. Justice?
Nothing, Your Honor. What to do? Should I press a little harder? Press! Miss O'Reilly! You're hiding something. What are you talking about? You... Me? Quick fingers, O'Reilly?
The defense will refrain from baseless accusations.
I have one question for the witness, then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? Of course it's true. I did see it. Honest. I saw it when Wright hit him.
Bloop. Bloop. Bloop.
What's this weird vibe I'm getting? Yep. She's lying. Touching her neck, wasn't it? Whoa! I'm already like 2 inches from the screen. Like, do we need to really be that close? Whoa, what's going on? This sensation, it's coming into focus. There, that twitch, it's so clear. It's like I could perceive her habit, like I couldn't before. New thing? New technique? Gotcha! Gotcha! Miss O'Reilly, perhaps you are unaware of this yourself. Well, what? Whenever you get to a certain point in your testimony, you touch the back of your neck with your left hand. My neck? So what? Well, indeed, Justice. I hadn't noticed anything of the sort. When she says that part of her testimony, she's subconsciously recalling something. Her body reacts to the memory as she touches her neck. I'm sure of it.
Memory? Would someone care to explain what he's babbling about?
This is highly unusual, but let's ask the defense. You claim the witness is remembering something. Maybe you have evidence of this memory to show us?
Her habit is scratching her neck whenever she talks about the moment of the crime. So what would remind her the most about the moment of the crime? Oh, thank God. It feels like it's been 5 minutes. Ugh. Miss O'Reilly, whenever you recall the crime that night, you scratch your neck. I've noticed it happens when you think about the moment of the crime. There must be some reason behind this habit of yours. I believe the weapon that left an inerasable impression on your neck is this. The bottle? You think Mr. Wright hit her with the bottle? I don't know what he's yammering on about. Whenever she talks about the moment of the crime, she touches her neck. And what reminds us more of the moment than this bottle, the murder weapon? But something doesn't fit. If you were the only witness to the crime, why would that make you touch your neck like you're in pain?
What's he talking about now?
It was Mr. Smith, the victim, who was hit, not you.
This is a cross-examination, not a cross-wild conjecture. The witness's habits, they're completely irrelevant.
Justice, I'll admit, I'm a bit confused myself. This is certainly a unique cross-examination. I'll explain later. Just trust me. Now's our only chance to break her. Miss O'Reilly, please testify in detail about the moment of the crime. The very moment.
Yet, I am knowing nothing.
I'm sorry, but that facade has already been broken.
We know you're not Russian.
The witness will testify. Please, now.
Bah, fine. He's the one who did it. I didn't let him out of my sight until the cops were there.
You seem uneasy.
Try standing up here.
Eyes are darting all over the place. I must be getting warm. Tell me, after the crime, what was the defendant like?
Well, he must have been stunned by the weight of his crime. He sat in a daze at that table until the cops came.
Intriguing. I believe that you've gotten all the testimony you're going to get out of this witness. So, what do you think about her testimony? I'll tell you what I think. Her testimony is flawed. It's basically bogus. It contradicts the evidence.
What's that?
Well, show us this evidence, Mr. Justice. This evidence that you claim contradicts the testimony.
She didn't let him out of her sight until the cops got there? I know there's some evidence that contradicts that. Take that! Take that! Miss O'Reilly, we have a record here that clearly contradicts what you said. It states that the police were alerted by a report from the defendant. And we know that the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made that phone call on the first floor of the Borscht Bell Club. So, explain how you kept your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely. Poor lobster fell down. I thought it was soup, but it was a lobster.
Man who picked up a bottle and swung at that knife wasn't the defendant.
Twas. The victim? Mystery fourth person? The dog? Showdown time. You dirty cheat. Check his pockets now. It's gone! The card's gone! You lose. Just then, Smith grabbed the bottle from next to Wright, and he hit me.
Some master of cheating you turned out to be.
When I came to,
The victim was already dead. Is that it?
that's why I couldn't reveal who I really was. If I came out like that I was in league with Smith, I'd be a suspect for sure.
Well, where does this leave us?
Madness. This is madness. I'm dreaming.
It must have been me who was hit with a bottle, and I'm imagining all of this.
Appears our prosecution is at his wit's end. Frankly, I can't blame him. Mr. Gavin, what do you think about this turn of events?
Mr. Gavin, sir? I believe that, as the defense in this case, we are compelled to call Miss O'Reilly a big fat liar.
What?
There were three were in that room at the night of the murder. The defendant, victim, and her. And she has a motive. The motive? Her plot foiled. The witness got into an argument with her client, Mr. Smith. And the denouement of the argument was murder.
Well, I'm no killer. It's a trap. Somebody's trying to frame me.
What tangled webs we weave when we practice to deceive. So tangled we catch ourselves in the process.
Mr. Wright?
Such a hasty conclusion. It's not like you, Christoph Gavin. What are you saying? Why not consider the other possibility? That there was another person in the room at the time of murder. Right, like Mr. Wright was saying before recess. A single card was swapped into the victim's hand after the murder. And the one who swapped the card didn't know the two colors of the cards that were being used. A fourth person.
This theory again. Your fourth person doesn't exist.
Indeed. That's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here, where there's no escape and no chance for deception, the perfect place to catch the real criminal.
The real criminal?
And we're in luck. A clue to the real criminal's identity was kindly proven for us. And right at the beginning of this trial, no less.
You were what?
Apollo, perhaps you know what I'm talking about? Oh no. Gavin. Gavin? It wasn't you, was it, Gavin? John Gavin? What did I say earlier about the guilty, I said don't do it! Sorry. Remember what I said? The fourth person who swapped the cards made one critical error. He or she wasn't considering the color on the backs of the cards? Right. But how could such an obvious mistake occur? The cards used for the last game were red. Yet, there's one person here, in our court, who thought those cards were blue. Yeah, I had that impression too, but why? Someone's colorblind! Well, Apollo, think you can figure out who it was?
It's not me, I swear.
Who is this fourth person?
Why do I always have to get put on the spot like this? Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who was it? Who thought the cards used in the final game were blue? My trusted mentor. He lacks a certain presence. Godot did it!
Take that!
As I expected. Your eyes and ears are as sharp as your hair. I was right? Christoph Gavin, you were the fourth person that night. But of course Gavin knows the color of the cards. How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white. Maya did it. We have to prove she's not a killer again next case. Oh my god. You can't tell which cards are blue. The ones on the floor or the table. But look! As you can see, the colors in this photo. Yeah, but when he said the cards were blue, it was well before this evidence came to light. Oh yeah. Well, Christoph? Mr. Gavin?
Mr. Gavin! Is something the matter?
No, nothing. Excuse me. It was just so sudden. Right. You aren't seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Christoph? You know I'd never take a joke this far.
This has gone beyond ridiculous! Beyond dumb! This is insanity! The defendant accusing his own defense attorney of murder?
I assure you, I'm quite sane.
But what possible connection could Mr. Gavin have to the victim?
I wasn't aware that I had a connection to Mr. Smith either.
Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim have never even met.
Well, what if they have? There's a possibility, after all. They may have met that night before the game started.
What are you suggesting?
Is this the truth Mr. Wright was staying silent about? Well, only one thing to do. Mr. Wright, the defense would like to request that you... Defense would like to request no such thing. Mr. Gavin? Testimonies must relate to the case. How could anything happening before the game of poker be related?
I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Gavin.
As I explained before, the defense believes that Or really...
I'm to assume you speak for Mr. Justice in this? He is the defense, not you. Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you.
No.
Okay.
Does the court, in your opinion, need to hear Mr. Wright's testimony?
Yes. This was Mr. Wright's strategy. He was planning this all along. I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court. You too, Justice. You'll betray me. You're a teacher. Sorry, Mr. Gavin. This isn't about loyalty. This is about the truth.
Very well, the defendant, Mr. Wright, will take the stand. Please.
That evening, Kristoff and I had dinner. We sat at the table in this photograph. Chatty Smith walked in 5 minutes after Kristoff left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold. Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. That's when I made another phone call to defense attorney Gavin.
Mr. Gavin, you were at the Borscht Bowl Club the night of the murder?
I dine with him rather frequently.
And he talked to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder?
Quite against my will, I had become involved in a murder. I thought I might be in need of a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you, Wright? Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial. The only thing I want is the truth. As I did back then, and now. I thought my office was doing you a favor when we took on your defense. It appears that I was wrong.
Very well, the defense may cross-examine the witness.
Justice? Sir? He's lying. You're going to expose him. Understood, sir? Mr. Gavin versus Mr. Wright. This can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial? Okie dokie. We had dinner. We sat at this table in the photograph. Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Kristoff left. The trap failed. Smith had witness. He was knocked out cold, and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. The cut on his forehead, huh? Hold it! When you returned, the victim was already dead. Yeah. I'll admit, I was a little startled when I walked in.
A little?
He was bleeding from his forehead, after all. I guess I'd be startled too if I walked in on a scene like that. Hold it! Could you explain why you called Mr. Gavin? I'd obviously gotten involved in a rather sticky affair. And I figured Kristoff's law offices would give me a friend rate for my defense fees. Glad to hear you intend to pay. Oh, I'll pay in full, Kristoff. It was I who got you involved, after all. You may find the price of your defense quite high, my good friend, quite high. Is this the truth that Mr. Wright was talking about? What's Mr. Wright trying to tell me with his testimony? The truth has to be in there somewhere. You had dinner with Mr. Gavin? Yeah, he dines with me at the Borscht Bowl Club quite frequently. We're enjoying a usual dinner at our usual spot, as usual. Usual. I always eat at the table closest to the piano.
I see. where Mr. Smith was sitting.
So the plates and such on the table were from your dinner?
Indeed, the remnants of my meal with Kristoff. We dined for 2 hours, then Kristoff left. After that, that sounds like an Undertale note right there. Da, ba, 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 da, da. 5 minutes. So the two of them could have passed in the restaurant during that time? That would have been a fateful encounter, to be sure.
Oh, Mr. Wright, what was it you said? Kristoff, Gavin, and Shetty Smith may have met.
I believe I did say that.
Here I was all nervous about this meeting. And now we hear they just passed in the hall?
That does seem a little weak as a pretense for murder.
Oh, it would be, if that were all that really happened. Come on, Mr. Wright. What are you hiding this time? About this failed trap. This is the same trap that Miss Olga O'Reilly mentioned? Yeah, right. Yes, I know, we know. Thank you. I'm glad you have the flashbacks every 2 seconds. Thank you.
Just like that, the legend will be dashed to pieces.
Yeah, a harmless prank in essence. It was by a quirk of fate that I happened to discover it.
A quirk?
I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. The card she planted! Yeah, I snuck a peek at it and found it was a 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of that card before the game. Oh, straight up before the game.
Disposed? Where?
There was an empty bottle of grape juice that I had been drinking right beside me. Threw the card inside the bottle.
An empty bottle of grape juice?
The murder weapon! Yeah, I rolled it up and shoved it in. The colored glass makes it hard to see.
A battle of wits between the deceiver and the would-be deceived. That sounds like a terrific drama.
A card inside the murder weapon. That's strange. Did the police miss it in their investigation? Maybe I'll take a look. Let me take a little peek. Open that shit up. Open that shit up. Okay, or not. Zoom in. There's definitely nothing in there, dude.
Mr. Wright, the poker-head of courtroom number 3 approves of this battle of wits. Please revise your testimony with this new information.
Why in the bottle? I perceived my opponent's intent immediately. I'm used to entrapment, you see. I knew it was coming.
Oh, so you struck first. I like that.
I know every trick in the book. They don't work on me. At least when you got lucky and stick your hand in your pocket, they don't. There's no card in the bottle. It's empty. Mr. Wright, if I may? Yeah? I've examined the bottle and I don't see any card in here. No?
What, Mr. Wright? Surely isn't all you have to say for yourself?
I can't say that I know what happened to the card. I did put it in that bottle, however... Huh? Perhaps a 5th person came and took it out. Oh, and a 6th person could have helped.
Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright's your client.
My apologies, Your Honor.
I won't have you disparaging our investigation either. We looked inside the bottle and there was nothing.
So what's going on? Is Mr. Wright hoodwinking us yet again? Or did the card just disappear?
In any case, please continue the cross-examination. I'm afraid decisive contradictions call for decisive evidence.
Oh. Push him harder, Justice. Break him. It's just you and the witness in the ring. Go for the KO. Ugh. Why do I get the feeling we're not on our client's side anymore? You made the call to the police from the first floor of the restaurant, correct? Exactly. Cell phones don't get a signal down in the hideout. Was anyone else on the first floor at the time? Not a soul. It was the middle of the night after all. So there, in the darkened restaurant, I called the cops. After making the call, I returned to the hideout. It didn't seem right to leave the injured waitress alone. Cut on the forehead. Okay. Wait, so we have pressed everything. Cut on his forehead. That looks like a bonk. Okay, it's not a bonk. Not a bonk. Not a bonk. Well, maybe not the picture. Maybe the autopsy report. Oh. Single blow to the head. Objection! Okay, nope, not a contradiction. Oh! Let me just, turnabout Trump. Oh, like Trump card. Hold on, I gotta turn on my fan. It's getting a little too hot in here for me. Okay. I'll put it on low, though. My new fan is pretty loud. Oh, but that is so much better. Okay. Not that cold. Smith was uncontrollable. I'll have to call the police. I discovered the trap during the game and disposed of the card in the bottle. Is it the same card? No, it isn't. What do you say? It was a 5 of hearts? Hold it! Okay, now my hair's fucking going crazy. Looking for info. Okay. Okay. Ba 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 ba. How long did I yearn for one of these? Just putting it on makes me feel ready. Call the defense attorney Gavin. Ah. And he disposed of it in the bottle, but we already... Consult. Reader gameplay. We already...
Objection!
We already objected to it, though. So it allows me to do the objection again? Okay. Did it just disappear? Push him harder. Okay. Alright then. Find the card, simple as. Yeah. Oh, I gotta tie my hair up. It's bothering me.
You bother me.
Yep. I don't think I can present people. There's no person part. Ba 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 ba. Da da da. Da da da. Da 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 da. More divisive evidence. Or decisive, I mean. I don't know. I'm guessing it would be one of the pictures. You can't see the card inside any of them. Fuck it. No. No, The trap during the game and disposed of the card in the bottle. Wait, during? I thought he said he disposed of it before. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Okay. Oh, I was gonna say, what's all that shit all over everything? It's snow. It's supposed to be snow. For some reason I thought they were using blueback cards in the final hand. No clues here. Oops. Whoops. Whoops. Hello? What is happening? Like, what? Okay. Deadly bottle. Is it like under the sticker? No. I don't know. A little at a loss here. Show the meeting.
Objection!
Yipe! How far does this go back? Is Mr. Wright hoodwinking us again, or did the card just disappear? Decisive contradictions call for decisive evidence. So where's the card? Hey, Luigi?
Objection!
I'm dead! Did we get a unique failure?
That's enough! I see no need to further prolong this trial. The defense's case is insufficient to overturn the prosecution's claims.
If you press everything, I thought I did press everything. What the fuck? Oh my god, classic Ace Attorney. No! Gonna go regular trial at the High Court within a month's time. Court's adjourned. Oh, you're not saying you haven't checked yet? Okay. Resume a save game. Retry from the scene. Dead, yes, I'll admit. A little. Yep. Yep, sticky affair. You wanted a defense attorney. Price is high. He's lying. Expose him. Two hours, then he left. Yep, did that already. See, I knew I had done all of it. I was keeping track. Middle of the night. It was like maybe he was gonna like, cause he left to report the murder, but no, it's not. Blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. Did I present this? Yep. Oh? You looked it up. Oh, okay. Oh, you're right. He has a hat on! I forgot about the hat. I was too busy thinking about the cut. I was like, no, he got bonked. Why is there a cut? Mr. Wright, if I may? Yeah? Look at this photograph of the crime scene. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could, well, see blood on his forehead. Good point. Justice, next time you point out an inconsistency, a little more oomph into it.
Mr. Wright, can you explain this to the court?
Forgot to mention something. I was the one who put that hat on his head.
You?
Put the hat on the dead man's head?
He wore it through our entire poker game. After calling the police when I returned to the scene, his head was in full view. Shining bright, just like in this photograph.
And?
I picked his hat up off the floor and put it on his head.
Why'd you do a thing like that?
All I can say is, I'm sorry. But that's the only thing I touched at the crime scene. So, Miss O'Reilly didn't see it? It being the victim's his head. I think not. She was out cold. I believe I was the only one who witnessed his head. Well, here we go again. Mr. Gavin? Pardon. It seems that our client is determined to lie his way through this case. He's still our client, isn't he? I believe that's enough of that. Mr. Gavin? This witness's testimony is more like a travesty. It's riddled with lies. I'm beginning to see how you came to lose your attorney's badge 7 years ago. Well, you certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Christoph. I never knew. I believe it was you who threw the first stone. Mr. Wright, if you intend to ever tell the truth about this case, it's now or never. Yeah, don't be misled. I haven't told a single lie here. Huh? When I noticed the trap, I put the card in the bottle to dispose of it. And then I put the hat on the victim's head. Let's just say, I had a reason for doing that as well.
A reason?
That reason is right here. Your cell phone? That night, recall that I spoke with defense attorney Gavin after calling the police. Just in case I recorded our conversation. What's this? Now that we're all here, I see no reason why I shouldn't play it back for the court. Christoph, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. What's this? Game not going well? Something like that. That gentleman who challenged you, he turned out to be that good. He turned out to be dead. Someone hit him hard. I mean, someone cracked that flawless bone china plate. It wasn't you, was it? Me, please! The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should have come to that. Bone china plate? It's a kind of porcelain, very smooth and shiny. Not plate, but pate? Pate? Paste pas Pete? I believe he was referring to a certain gentleman's balding forehead.
The court appreciates the defendant's discretion in not indicating my forehead.
Wait a sec. Something's not right about that phone call. So after Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you, he left the borscht bowl and... Most certainly. Then how did he know? When did he see this bone china plate?
Oh, that's right!
Yeah. That was when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene. When I spotted Mr. Smith's head again, I realized exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court? Exactly how did you come by your privileged knowledge of the victim's head? So this is your reason. The reason why you put the victim's hat back on. Your point, Mr. Gavin? Come down to this, has it, Phoenix Wright?
Order! I will have order, Mr. Payne!
Yes, Your Honor.
I believe this court has been left with no other choice. Are you prepared to hear Defense Attorney Gavin's testimony?
Well, as the prosecutor, I...
Very well. We'll break for 10 minutes. After which Mr. Gavin will take the stand for a cross-examination. Are we all clear on that?
Crystal clear, Your Honor.
Very well. This will be the final recess for today.
Well, shit. Mr. Gavin and Mr. Wright are both in the judge's chamber. Who'd have thought today would turn out like this? May I? It's his daughter. What?
Hi, sir. Please pick a card.
What's all this about? Is this one okay? Uh-oh, it's the trump card. It is red. See?
Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You'll need a trump card to make it.
A trump card?
The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely, and the game's yours. That's all.
Oh! It's got blood on it. Nice. Where do I remember that card from? The extra ace. The missing fifth ace. Wait, this blotch of red. Is this blood?
You have your trump card. Now it's up to you to cut the deck and draw. The truth. My father's fate is in your hands. I know you can do it!
Well, Phoenix didn't have a daughter last I checked, so she must be like 6 or 7, right? Unless he did adopt, in which then... I fell deep into thought as my mind raced to understand what this all meant. That girl, I'd seen her recently, but where? And she said her father was in my hands? I don't remember grabbing her dad. This is all too confusing. That's when I made the connection. A mysterious girl. That's Kristoff's daughter. True. I want a little something. Hold up.
I got a little candy.
I haven't eaten today. I basically woke up, showered, and then hopped on stream. Because I woke up late today. I don't know why. I slept fucking so long. I slept till like 10:30. Which is actually when I set an alarm for myself, so... Lucky I had done that. Here's something. Enjoy. What?
Court will now reconvene. Ignore me, I'm eating my mac and cheese. Defense Attorney Crystal Gavin, will you please take the stand? Now then, if you would, Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, Mr. The witness, state his name and occupation.
Is this farce necessary, Your Honor?
Believe me, far stranger things have gone on in this courtroom.
Fine, I'll play along.
First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How'd you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat?
By secret, he means the fact that Mr. Smith was bald. Forgive my curiosity, but what is it about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have an inordinate interest in it.
Objection!
Are you allowed to be here, Wright? Are you allowed to be in the defense corner? Well, we are defending you, I guess, but I wouldn't call it inordinate, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Wright? What do you think you're doing, Wright? Wow, things sure do look different from the other side. Know what I mean, Apollo? Speaking of, looking from the other side, let's consider something for a second. The victim wore that hat all night, never once taking it off, except for that one time. That one time being the instance he was in.
Oh!
When Mr. Wright returned from reporting the crime, the hat was lying on the floor. Mr. Wright picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, you would have had to have been there at the hideout, at the time of the crime. In other words, I must be the real killer. Is that what you're trying to say? Not bad, Apollo.
Mr. Gavin?
I'm afraid that I haven't been entirely honest with the court.
What?
Oh, I assure you, I had the noblest of intentions. I did it all to protect my client, Mr. Wright. Yet, I'm afraid in the current situation I see little reason to hide anything. Very well. Allow me to tell you the truth of what happened that night.
Finally! You may begin your testimony. Tell us, how were you involved in the events of that fateful night?
The rage I sensed in that man that night troubled me, so I returned to the club. I went down to the basement, peeked in through the little window in the hideout. Must have been right after the murder took place. The victim was dead, as he appears in the photo. A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. I sensed that it was not the best place for me at that time, and so I left. That's when the call came from Wright.
About time it was getting close to lunchtime.
Your Honor, was you just eating mac and cheese here in the courtroom?
Yes, that was my mid-trial mac and cheese. I need my lunch mac and cheese, which has bacon in it. Very different. It's almost a carbonara, if you would.
So you witnessed the murder?
For better or worse, I missed the actual moment of the deed.
Mr. Gavin, may I remind you that you are on Mr. Wright's defense team. Your testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client.
What else could I say? I'm standing on the witness stand after all. So you are, Mr. Gavin. And you had to testify as you just did. You had to tell them you saw the scene of the crime through that little window. Mr. Wright? You had to say that, because that was the only probable window of opportunity. Right, Apollo? Oh. I like this switch. How it goes from, oh, you know, Mr. Wright's all washed up, and now he's back in the defense chair, helping old Apollo out. He's a little newbie.
Mr. Wright, the defense should do the cross-examination, not the defendant. Mr. Justice, are you prepared?
Yes, Your Honor. I can't believe I'm going up against Mr. Gavin. This trial's getting weirder and weirder.
Hold it!
That man, you mean Mr. Smith? He was different from the other customers, his aura, shall we say. Well, I knew he was a serious poker player, but it was more than that.
So then you knew the true nature of your client's job?
Of course, but I also knew he wasn't engaged in gambling, which would be illegal. Well, it makes sense that he'd know. They were friends. Worried for my friend, I returned to the club. You see, I feared this Mr. Smith might be someone coming to settle an old score.
I see. What happened then?
Hold it!
A little window. You mean the one used to keep watch up the stairs? Yes, a relic of the ancient past. The Black Marketeers used it, I believe. Why'd you go through all the trouble of peeking through that window? Wouldn't it have been easier to just open the door and go into the room? I didn't want to upset Wright. Upset, Mr. Wright? Yes, one of my fears had been unfounded. I'd be walking in on their match. Bad form, to say the least. So far, everything he's saying does make sense. Oops. Stop! Okay.
Hold it!
How'd you know it was right after the murder? Really, no need to shout justice. I was just getting to that part of my testimony. Ha! There he is! The coolest defense in the West. We know and love. Even when you're standing up on that witness stand, some things never change. Oh, thank you, Foolproof. I was afraid you'd change too, right? But you haven't. You and that overbearing personality of yours.
With friends like these, who needs enemies?
The victim was dead as he appears in the photo.
Hold it!
By photo, you mean the second photograph of the crime scene? Precisely. You see, he wasn't wearing his hat then. I saw his head when he was dead. Mr. Wright came along and replaced his hat.
Can you describe the crime scene for us?
A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. Why? A sexual assault must have occurred.
Hold it!
Those were the only three at the scene of the crime? Yes, as far as I saw at least.
Then we're back to where we started. The killer was the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Who else could it have been? But why didn't you talk to the police?
Two reasons. First, I didn't actually witness the very moment of the crime. Second, my office was asked to defend Mr. Wright. Even after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't abandon my friend.
Objection!
There must have been someone else there at the moment of the crime. Just as I just said, I saw no one, not a soul. But that goes against what Mr. Wright said. Ah, yes, this mysterious fourth person, who would conveniently be the real killer, I suppose. Glad to see we agree, Mr. Gavin. Then let me pose a question. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap the cards in the victim's hand? Oh, I know that one! It had blood on it! Perhaps you could show us a reason why such a thing would be necessary. How can I show something I can't find myself? Hey, remember, Apollo, the card that was swapped out was the fifth ace. The fifth ace? Right.
Well, Mr. Justice, the question of why the killer would swap out a card has been raised. Can you point out to a reason?
Yes! It's now or never. The defense would like to present evidence to the court. Evidence showing the reason why a card was swapped out.
Then go ahead and point out your reason, Mr. Justice. Why'd the killer take the fifth ace?
Take that!
It has blood on it! The reason is this!
Is that an ace?
Why, it's got blood on it! Hold on. I desire more mac and cheese. Give me a moment. Hold on.
Your Honor, that doesn't sound like mac and cheese. It sounds like you're fiddling with a wrapper.
No, I assure you it's very safe for the courtroom. Okay, fine, you got me. It's a little bit of dark chocolate, but that's fine. What kind of a man can enjoy a little dark chocolate while presiding over a case, hmm? Jeez, just keeping up appearances for the jokes that we had, you know? Consistencies, Mr. Justice. Consistencies. Right next to the spade. What?
This is insane. Why wasn't I told about this? Why?
Could this be missing the missing fifth ace?
No more mac and cheese, only cheese and mac from now on.
Inconceivable. How could you? What are you doing with a card?
Well, that's the thing. Why's Mr. Gavin so upset? It's just a fishy card from some fishy girl. Oh, that card? It's mine. That is, I picked it up at the Borscht Bowl Club the night after the murder had occurred. I gave it to my daughter. Cards are her stock in trade, after all.
Objection!
No, impossible, unacceptable. The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud. Fraud? You'd be so sure. What? Now hold on. I also have a piece of dark chocolate here. Hey, twinsies, Mr. Judge. What? I think the only person who could claim it was fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. Allow me to elaborate. What if this trace of blood was the reason?
The reason for?
For the killer to take the card from the scene of the crime.
Where are you going with this?
Take another look at the photo. And at the victim's head. At the moment of the crime, his hat fell onto the floor. And a trickle of blood ran down his forehead and to the back of his head. Couldn't a drop of that blood have fallen onto one of the cards? I suppose. The killer then took the card to hide the blood.
Objection!
Regardless, that evidence is non-permissible. Oh. Sorry, I was just washing it down. No more snacks. You like dark chocolate from those Valentine's chocolates? I don't know what you're even talking about. But dark chocolate's my favorite type of chocolate. So good. Bar none. That shit bust. No cap. For real, for real. Oh? Right. Regardless of how you wasted the last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer. You know what a serious crime it is to conceal evidence. Oh, we can discuss the finer points of our legal system later. What's important now is that I've answered your question. What are you talking about? You wanted to know why the killer would have taken a card from the crime scene. And now, I've told you. That one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence. It's this heart-shaped container with chocolate inside, and they pump them out every year? Wait, you're talking... Wait. Like the fucking goofy cartoony thing that you always see in, like, movies and anime and cartoons and stuff? Like the box of chocolate? That's real? I thought that was just like, oh yeah, you get chocolates for Valentine's Day. Oh, here's a fucking love heart box with chocolates in it. That's real? I thought those were all just like, oh, it's like a cartoony. Oh, it's a big heart. Valentine's. Whoa. That's the only place I've ever seen them. I've never seen one in real life before. Can you guess why? I can't leave my water bottle out. It's just gonna go fucking warm. I gotta keep putting it back in my fridge. That one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence, you see.
Objection!
No, it's true. I've never received a Valentine's. I mean, it's just a fact. That's just actually true. Though, to be fair, here in New Zealand, I know in America, I think, I've seen some things about, like, oh, you're forced to give a Valentine's, like, present to everybody in your class or something. Or I've heard that can happen in some places. We didn't have anything like that. It's like, oh yeah, you only celebrate if you have someone. No surprise that I didn't. This is baseless. Baseless conjecture. Baseless! Hey! There's my guy. Oh, I assure you, it's quite based. Oh, I assure you, Your Honor, this clip is quite based. That's good. Hold that pose, Phoenix. I am taking that. I assure you, it is quite based. We were enforced, but if you didn't have enough for everyone, you couldn't give out anything. That is the perfect fucking just clip. That is the perfect screen cap of any Ace Attorney game I've ever seen. Oh, I assure you, it's quite based. Also, by the way, earlier, I saw that his hat said Papa, and I was like, is he a dad now? I was like, nah, they wouldn't make him a dad. And then they brought up his daughter. I was like, okay, wait a minute, hold up. Wait a second. What? It's amazing, really. How a single drop of blood on a single card can lead us to the truth. It's quite simple. Well, Apollo? Yes? Try picturing the scene of the crime. In your head. Whoa! I'm tripping! I'm freaking out! What's happening? Am I in a fucking Black Mirror episode? What is this? The murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found at the poker table. And before the killer swapped their card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on it in the victim's hand. Oh yeah! Actually, sorry, speaking of, sorry. Every time Foolproof comes into chat, I just start thinking about Switch 2 because we always end up talking about it with him. But, I did see other leaks and rumors about, like, how big the launch lineup's gonna be. And it's, like, confirming that, like, Capcom, Sega, like, all these companies have, like, a bunch of shit ready for launch. And it's just like, oh, baby. I mean, we already kind of knew, but there was just more coming out. I wonder if I can find it, actually. Sorry. I believe it was Go Nintendo that was tweeting about it. Or, blue skying. I don't know what you would call that. Yeah, I think Persona is confirmed, and Metaphor as well? Or not confirmed, but you know. Ubisoft is bringing more than half a dozen games to Switch. Is that the only one? Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater heading to Switch 2. Rumor. Maybe that was it. But still. I think the Sega ones were from a while ago. But yeah, there you go. There's Ubisoft. Multiple sources claim Switch 2 reveal set for January 16th. Here we go! I really hope so. It makes sense. Middle of the month. That is generally when a direct would happen, is like around that time. And I really hope so. I am so desperate for a direct. I know it's like, oh, reveal, no direct. That's not in the leaks, but like, come on, Nintendo, come on. Do a direct and do a direct reveal all in one. Please. It'd be so cool. It would be so awesome. There you go, there's your hydrate.
It would be so cool.
Won't be until late February, early March. I know you're probably right, but like, what if they do a combo? We haven't had a Direct in so long. Why wait? I think it would be really good for hype if they were to switch to Direct, reveal it, and then reveal launch lineup and games coming in the latter half of the year. I think that's a good idea. Given this, there's one decisive problem with this scene.
Well, what is it?
Let's keep it simple, shall we? Given that there was a drop of blood on a card, whose position in this diagram doesn't fit? The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses? Whose position doesn't... Well, him. He wouldn't be able to see the card on the floor. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm just so excited. Like, we still don't know what's going to happen. They could do a Direct at the same time. I don't know. That's my hopes, anyway. That's my copium, alright? I'm sure they'll probably show off 3D Mario running on it. Like they did with Odyssey. And Tears, or not Tears, Breath.
Take that!
The second witness's position is the problem.
The second witness? That would be Mr. Gabbard, yes?
The second witness's position is far less problematic than yours right now, Justice. Or perhaps perilous is a better word.
I cannot see what the bloodstained card has to do with the second witness's location.
He couldn't see it, so how could he come back to get it?
No!
Given that there was a drop of blood on the card, whose position in this diagram doesn't fit? Would it be the victims, then? I have a couple tries of this. Well, isn't it the victim's position that's the problem?
I don't follow your logic here, Mr. Justice.
Well, look, the victim was struck in the head, sending him back in his chair. You'd think any blood would fall behind the body, not onto the table in front of him.
Oh,
Take a look at the photo again. If he bled in this position, the blood would fall onto the floor, not onto the cards.
why, that's right. So what does that mean?
Incidentally, we were sitting in swivel chairs. Swivel chairs? Oh man. Apollo, try turning the chair around.
Whoa! The chair was facing the other way? Thank you for that shitty mock-up in fucking MS Paint 3D. Now I understand.
It would have to be. So we have to assume that at the time of the murder, the victim's chair was facing away from the table.
When Mr. Wright returned from informing the police, which way was the chair facing?
When I came back into the room, the body was facing as seen in this photo. That would mean the killer turned the chair back round. Let's take the next step. Look at the diagram once more. We know now that the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder. But this creates another significant contradiction.
Again?
Let's test your reasoning skills again, shall we? Apollo, whose location on this diagram contradicts our new understanding of the crime? Now number 2 doesn't. Because his head wouldn't be in the fucking frame of the window. He couldn't see his head. What doesn't make sense is the second witness. mean to say that I don't make sense? No, of course, you do, sir. As I thought. Help! Oh, never mind. I thought maybe if it was...
Mr. Justice, I'm a little hard of hearing. Did you say something?
Guessing that every time... The window's tiny! I thought maybe if he was facing that way, his head wouldn't even be in view of the window. Ugh. Thanks, Laser, thanks. My logic there, okay, is that this whole thing started with him seeing his bald head. If he looked through the window and his body is facing that way, his head is out of the fucking frame of the window. Point to a relevant spot. So he's facing that. Whose location creates a contradiction if the victim was facing away. Wait, K and W. Which is which? Is this right and this is... victim? Is this supposed to be killer? Oh, witness, killer, victim. Okay. Well, I guess the killer, then. Are all the cases usually this long? Oh, foolproof. This is nowhere near anywhere near the longest case in the series. You should have been here when we were doing, Investigations 1. The victim was struck from the front, correct? Indeed. Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front? Sitting where his indicator currently is? I would think it would be quite hard, yes.
Yes, but what you're saying makes no sense. Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall in the middle of a game?
I believe a sufficient reason will soon come to light.
What?
There's something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually. Look again at the diagram. Apollo, if the victim was struck while he was sitting, as shown here, where would his assailant be standing? But... It's room to put a mark where the killer should be. Don't worry, let's think it through and see what we can find. We know the victim was facing toward the wall at the time of the crime. That's the only thing we know for sure. Try not to forget about everything else. Like right here? We probably can't put here because they've mentioned that, so like here? Well, I guess the killer would have to be here. Oh, God.
Anything to say, Mr. Justice, you fucking idiot? You were supposed to pick the place the killer couldn't be.
Sorry.
Too late for that, I'm afraid. Penalty!
That's a lot less chances than the last game.
No.
Fine, I'll pick the fucking case where he shouldn't be able to stand. Hurry up, get it over with.
Penalty death. Bye-bye.
Don't overthink things, Apollo. What does your instinct tell you? You know the victim was facing towards the wall at the time of the crime. That's the only thing we know for sure. Try to forget about everything else. Okay. Killer had to be standing well, Here.
You get points for flair, but that's all you get.
I thought I was onto something there too.
I hardly need to point out that standing there would be impossible. The victim is facing a solid cupboard. Or are you claiming the killer climbed into the cupboard and hit him from above? Nah.
It's simple logic, really. If this was the only place the killer could have been standing, then that means at the very moment of the crime... Wait, I know! At the moment of the crime, the cupboard wasn't there.
What's this?
I mean, that's the only explanation, right, Mr. Gavin? Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. We should arrange to examine the cupboard in the hideout immediately.
Bailiff, send a team to the crime scene immediately. Have them try and move the cupboard.
Yeah, Your Honor?
What?
There's one more thing your men should look for. Please give this to the bailiff.
Yes, I see. You do belong in the courtroom after all, Mr. Wright.
I do my best. Well, let's forge ahead here while we wait. Look at the diagram once again. It's been changed. If the killer was standing here at the time of the crime, then this cupboard wasn't here. Which means, Apollo, try moving the cupboard. Okay. The window was covered. Thank you. As you can see, the cupboard was the problem. At the time of the murder, it has to have been shown here. Now everything is in place to reconstruct the moment of the crime. Oh my! What's this?
What is it now?
Look at the diagram of the crime scene once more. It appears we found yet another contradiction. What I believe to be the final contradiction, in fact. Oh, dang! Notice anything, Apollo? Our line of deduction is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion.
Now then, Mr. Justice, please point to the new contradicting indicator. Is it the victim, the killer, the witness, the second witness?
Now I can do it.
Take that!
Finally, I was right! About this cupboard. Are we all okay with assuming it was moved? Sure, why not? Well, if it was, something really doesn't fit. The cupboard would completely cover up the window to the stairs! Oh! That's right. Someone standing outside wouldn't be able to see in. Someone like Mr. Gavin! What? What did you say? Oh, is the coolest defense in the West losing his cool? Don't expect me to play along with your little game, right? It's only a game until someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. And someone was, while the window to that room was blocked by a cupboard. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain the court? Exactly where did you witness the crime from? Excuse me, Your Honor.
Order! This is a court of law, and I will have order.
We just now received word from our investigative team at the Borscht Bowl Club. They've examined the cupboard in the hideout.
Oh, and what did they find?
Well, Your Honor, it turns out there's a secret passageway behind it.
What?
Ah, yes, I believe I mentioned something of the sort before. This is one of the tricks of the room many of our regulars know about. I don't remember him saying something about that, now that he mentions it. A secret passage is a handy thing to have when you're engaged in illegal goings-ons. You never know when you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law. So the room had a secret passage, but where does it go? The other side connects to the restaurant above. The underworld bosses could get away from the cops. To a cold bowl of borscht, no doubt? Just like our killer. Did we do it? Is that it? All done? See where our line of simple deductive reasoning has led us, Apollo? I see it, but I don't believe it. That girl wasn't kidding when she said I needed this trump card. The last hand. the time of the murder, the window was blocked in the victim's head. It was only off his head for a few minutes between Mr. Smith's murder and Mr. Wright's return from calling the cops. In other words, the only place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head was from inside the hideout. Well, Mr. Gavin? Come on, say something.
Dare I ask what really happened that night?
Actually, I think we can probably figure it out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mr. Smith. A date with destiny. He was gonna kiss him, and smooch him, and snuggle with him, and... what else do you do on a date? Buy heart-shaped chocolates? There you go, another callback. There, he crouched, hidden in the secret passageway behind the cupboard. Holding his breath, waiting for the right moment. And the chance came, and he took it. Miss Olga O'Reilly was out cold, struck by Mr. Smith. But his time was soon to come. Mr. Wright went upstairs to call the cops, leaving Mr. Shady Smith alone in the hideout with an unconscious dealer. Then our killer stepped out from the secret passageway in the hideout. The victim must have heard the cupboard sliding aside. He wheeled his chair around to look, and after the deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the card. He would have, of course, realized the need to destroy the evidence. That single spot of blood told the whole story of the crime. Too bad for him, he didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. If he had, he might have noticed the cards on the floor. And the fact that they were all red!
Well, it seems this trial has taken yet another turn. I'm truly, truly sorry I had to see this day come, Mr. Gavin.
Mr. Gavin?
Mr. Payne!
Yeah? Yes, Your Honor.
The prosecution will continue its investigation. As for Mr. Phoenix Wright, the defendant, he is hereby cleared of all suspicion.
Oh,
Believe me when I say I don't believe this is happening, Mr. Gavin, but I'm afraid circumstances call for me to issue a warrant for your arrest immediately.
Objection!
Oh, no need to apologize. I rather enjoyed myself. It's not every day you get to witness a legendary attorney's dirty tactics firsthand. Your point, Mr. Gavin? Frankly, Your Honor, I'm shocked that a person of your caliber would be taken in by such a low-grade parlor trick.
Excuse me?
The defendant is cleared of all suspicion. This is hardly the time for jokes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright hasn't proven anyone's guilt or innocence here. What he has done is use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else. Not just anyone else, but me, his own defense attorney.
Illegal evidence?
Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin, is there still any reason at present to suspect me of wrongdoing? Of course. The bottle, for instance. A bottle of grape juice Mr. Wright was drinking. How do you intend to explain away the fingerprints on the murder weapon? Well, how do you expect to explain away the blood that's not found on the bottle? Not just any fingerprints. Am I right, Mr. Payne?
Actually, yes. The fingerprints on the bottle were upside down.
I seem to recall this being an issue earlier. Court in this case to ban an explanation. I can think of only one reason why anyone would hold a bottle upside down. And that is to hit someone with the bottom of the bottle. Well, Your Honor. See how the codfish squirms to the last? Well, yeah. Your boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still. But I'm sure you can come up with a suitable explanation, just like that. Yeah. Yeah, just like what? Why would anybody grab a bottle upside down other than to... Don't let him trick you into thinking his explanation is the only legitimate one. Is there really another? Take another look at the court record. I believe you'll find a simple answer there, in plain sight. Yes, what I mentioned earlier, when he was playing at the piano. How about you just say your answer plain in words? English, preferably.
It would be hasty to deliver a verdict with unanswered questions indeed. Well, Mr. Justice.
Can't said that the court in this case demand an explanation. Don't worry, justice won't leave until justice is done. Was I right this whole time? About that, or is it going to be something else?
Perhaps the defense would care to enlighten the court. The evidence you have to explain why the fingerprints on the bottle are upside down.
I'm just going to go for it.
Take that!
It's actually easier to show you than explain, Your Honor. Place that bottle on the floor next to your chair. Yes, I was right! I called it fucking right from the start.
Yes. Excuse me, on the floor?
Yes, now reach down and pick it up. Without getting out of your chair. See, you naturally go to pick up the bottle by its neck. With your fingers upside down. Look at this photograph taken on the night of the murder. The defendant, Mr. Wright, sat here. Playing piano, bottles of grape juice on the floor and on the side of his piano bench. He would have naturally picked up the bottles upside down several times.
Wow, I can't believe it was that simple.
Recall our dinner that evening, Christoph. I was drinking my usual juice then, too. Basically, use the bottle on the table to do the deed. But then, you must have remembered. So you went and picked up one of the bottles from under the piano and switched the bottles. You took one of Mr. Wright's bottles and made it look like the murder weapon. You know, you could probably explain that with the bottle not having any blood on it either, you know? Like, surely it would have gotten a little blood on it since he did start bleeding. But I guess if it was bonked, maybe not. But then at that point, why don't you just, like, dip the bottle in some blood, and then it's, like, even harder to deny.
Order, order, order! What do you have to say to these charges, Mr. Gavin?
Fascinating. This is the legendary attorney's famed tactic of misdirection. What? You claim that I switched the bottle. Where's your proof? Proof? Well, that's, the card is missing. The card be missing. As I thought, more baseless conjecture. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite empty.
Objection!
I wouldn't be so sure about that. Your Honor, when you initiated the investigation of the hideout earlier, do you recall I requested an additional investigation?
Ah, yes, I have your memo about that here. Retrieve the bottles from under the piano at the Borscht Bowl Club. And here's one of the bottles in question.
What are you going to dust for fingerprints, too? Be surprised if any were on that but his. So Gavin probably wouldn't make such a novice mistake, true. That bottle wouldn't bear a trace of anything. Say, Apollo. Yes? Why don't you go ahead and examine that bottle? Why is hideout spelt like that? Oh, it's because it's, like, supposed to be Russian. It's supposed to be a Russian, like, diner. Like a Russia-themed diner. But why? Just humor me. Mr. Wright, that bottle will solve this case once and for all. What? That's some bottle. There's a card in there, the 5 of hearts. There's something inside the bottle. What's this? That card. It can't be. Recall that unpleasant woman's testimony for a minute. Miss Olga O'Reilly? Yeah, our little swindling Devochka.
That night I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the last hand, just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him. But the planted card was gone. Trap failed.
Wait, this isn't... You're telling me that this is the planted card you disposed of? What you mentioned in this piece of testimony? The Five of Hearts. This is the card. The bottles were swapped. And the only one who could have done that was the fourth person in the club that night. You, Mr. Christoph Gavin. Uh-oh. He's about to bust! The lobster!
Oh, sheesh. Somebody pass up that lobster, will you? It still looks good to me.
Well, the lobster has been on the floor for the past, like, 15 minutes, but, you know. That's all. Is this your idea of revenge, Phoenix Wright?
Revenge?
Yeah, he's definitely involved with the what happened 7 years ago. Another past case. Revenge for the events that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago. My past is like my logic, straight and true. Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. Fine. I'm glad we could have this little what? Tita-titi. I'm glad I could see your titties in action, Mr. Wright. Most are.
This is insane! What about me? Don't I get to prosecute anyone?
I believe this time we've finally come to the end of our trial. Mr. Payne, do you have a report for us on Christoph Gavin?
He's admitted everything. They're processing his arrest right now.
I see. Still, one has to wonder why he would do such a thing. He didn't even have a connection to the victim, did he?
None that we know of.
Mr. Wright, have you anything to add?
I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on the matter.
About this victim, Mr. Shady Smith. His occupation was listed as traveler. An odd profession to be sure. And that's all. An odd profession to be sure. And that's all we know about him.
I'll arrange a follow-up investigation, Your Honor.
Good. Mr. Wright.
Yeah?
7 years, and you still haven't lost your touch.
Christoph Gavin was a man with such significance for me, both as a friend and a lawyer.
He was extremely talented, to be sure.
I needed two things before I could confront him. The first was a place where no injustice would be tolerated, this courtroom. The second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. In other words, a defense attorney. You, Apollo. Me? This is a dark time for our legal system. The twisting of justice is brought on by our very own initial trial system. We have to set it right. Mr. Wright. Our work lies ahead of us, and I, for one, am looking forward to it.
Well, this seems like a good time to announce a verdict. This courtroom finds the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Not guilty! Hooray! Is Gumshoe still, like, doing the confetti, or... He's gotta been put in the basement, so I don't know.
Court is adjourned.
Thanks, Apollo. You came through just like I thought you would. I'm pretty sure I didn't do a thing in there. It was you who cornered Mr. Gav, the killer. I couldn't have done it by myself. Wind Waker music edited and Nintendo music. This somehow means the ports are real. You sensed it too today, didn't you? Your ability. Ability? Yeah, a sensitivity I lack. You'll come to understand it soon enough. Wait, I wonder if he means... the weird vibe. What was that, Mr. Wright? Yeah, you'll have to find the answer to that question yourself. The answer? Right. Today was full of questions without answer. Most of them about Mr. Gavin. What possible reason could he have had to commit murder? Perhaps you'll learn that in days to come. Wait, you don't know, do you? This locket is the key. Huh, oh, that reminds me. I met the girl whose picture's in your locket. Your daughter, right? That's right, she's my daughter. You know, you were right about this locket. Yeah? I took this off his neck the night he died. It looks like our dear Russian scam artist saw me. So the truth is, this locket really did belong to him. Wait, but that's perjury! You testified, you said that that locket was yours! I said no such thing, actually. What? I only said that it was a locket with my daughter's picture inside. A subtle distinction, but a distinction nonetheless. And it's the truth. Wait, but then, why? Why was the victim wearing a locket with a picture of your daughter inside it? Sometimes the straightest path to the truth isn't the best one. Give it time. You're still just getting started with your career. Speaking of which, I may be out of a job. Work for Gavin Law Offices, after all. Still can't believe I just saw Mr. Gavin get led away in handcuffs. Apollo? Yeah? How about coming to work for me? You mean at the Wright & Co. Law Offices? I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know it. I can't imagine that to be true, but... Wait, but didn't you're not a... Oh, I turned in my badge, yeah, but I'm not an attorney anymore. Incident 7 years ago. Legendary trial. And at the middle of it all was one man. Phoenix Wright. The case reached its sad conclusion and he left law for good. Have you ever thought about coming back to the courts? I'm not qualified to stand in a court of law, I'm afraid. Didn't you notice in today's trial? There's a single piece of forged evidence. Forged evidence? What are you talking about? I'm talking about evidence that shouldn't have existed. A naughty magician's trick. One piece of evidence struck me as odd. It's true. It just seemed, well, too perfect. I'll bet this was forged evidence. The bloody ace.
Take that!
You mean this, don't you? I get this from your, daughter, Mr. Wright. Yeah, that card couldn't have been found at the crime scene. Why? Because the killer took it with him when he left. Leaving the wrong card in its place. Luckily for us. My verdict was already handed down 7 years ago. Then you really... Yeah, I forged this card. One look at the crime scene, you should have told you it wasn't real. But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney. Who's calling themselves an attorney, Apollo? So it's true. The rumor is true. 7 years ago. None of that matters much now, does it? Ugh. I punched him. It's your story from here on out, Apollo. Perhaps I can help you turn to the next page. My office's address. Drop in if you like. Mr. Wright. Oh, about your uppercut. Try yelling, "Take that!" next time. I find it packs a bit more punch. And Apollo, thanks for today. I had a good time. Bro out here forging evidence. Right, you're not supposed to take the wrong idea from the Edgeworth case. He turned over a new leaf because of you, and now you're turning over the leaf that he turned over? With that, Mr. Wright walked out of the door. And that's how my first trial ended. How do I like Hobo Phoenix? He's a hobo? But doesn't he have a job? As pianist? I guess that job might be over now. I do like him. Of course, it's Phoenix, but... I love his design. I love the hat. A lot of mysteries went unsolved, and at the time, I had no idea they were all related. Every mystery that day. That's just his fan name because he isn't dressed up in a suit. Connected by a single thread of logic. I'd find that out soon enough. My name's Apollo Justice, attorney at law, and this is how my story begins. And...
Cat item!
Turnabout Trump. Alright, well, let's start the next case, but we're not going to continue with it. We're going to leave it there. Let's just see the introduction. Yes. Turnabout corner. Phoenix said something about turning corners. As long as we draw breath, the wheel of fate turns. Uh-oh. Did Nick just get ran over? Spinning big crimes and little crimes together. And when the wheel stops... Oh, fucking... Mint 3D. You die. The 3D looked really good in Investigations 2. But I guess this is like... more direct from the 3DS. Hey, did it say... Oh yeah, Wright and Co. law offices. He did go by. 2 months have passed since Mr. Gavin's arrest. My first trial. And I lost both my mentor and my job. Yeah, I'll admit it. I was screwed. But even when I hit bottom, I told myself I'd never come here. Honest. Here being the legendary Wright & Co. law offices. Wow, it's a lot more magician-themed. That plant looks familiar, though. Okay, Justice. Time to stop trembling. Ah, you must be here for the interview. Right this way. Maya, maybe? Huh? Nope, never mind. His daughter.
Hello there! You found the right place. Welcome!
Interesting enough, I did pick up on the point that she was wearing pink in the pendant, and now she's wearing blue. What's with this girl?
Well now, shall we begin?
Begin what?
Well, first things first. Any special talents?
Talents?
Yes, well, you must have at least one.
Well, I guess defending?
Defending? Unusual talent, but it'll do. With a little jazzing up, of course.
You think so?
Let's give it a go, shall we? Go ahead, show me, defend! Let's give it all you got. Don't hold back now.
talking about? I can't just defend here.
First lesson. A professional can perform anywhere.
Thanks.
We want people to be laughing with us. Not at us.
Thanks? I'm not sure why they should be laughing at all.
What? What exactly do you think you came here to do?
What? Defend? No?
Excuse me, but do you know where you are?
The Wright and Go law offices, right?
Oh, I was afraid of that. Don't worry, you're not the first. Look, what's going on here?
Oh. Look, what's going on here? Who are you? Came here to meet with the person in charge.
Well, you've apparently made no fewer than 2 mistakes.
Mistakes? But I got a call from Mr. Wright this morning.
Perhaps you should go read the sign out front again?
I said to read. Look, it says right there. Oh. Why does it say Wright Talent Agency?
Welcome to Wright Talent Agency, where you've always come to the right place. I'm Tracy Wright, CEO. I'm a magician.
All came flooding back. The trial, that girl. Yeah. All came flooding back. That's right, she's my daughter. Trucy Wright?
Here, check out our flyer.
Magic to the piano, even your defense. Call now.
So, what's your name?
Apollo. Apollo Justice, attorney at law. She is 15! Okay, so it's not his biological daughter then. I knew it! Well, I knew it now that the age has been revealed. It has to be adopted, right? Unless he had a daughter we never knew about throughout the entirety of the first trilogy? No, there's definitely something fucky going on here. Yeah, I guess you're right. We don't know what he and Iris got up to when they were in college. That's true. That's true. He would have been like 20 or 21. Which is perfectly alright, but like... never mentioned until now. Her last name is Wright. So, she had to have either been adopted or... born and then... hidden? Apollo Justice, attorney at law. Oh, move, present, examine, talk. Alright, well, we'll leave it there. What a start. What a start. The tutorial cases are getting just better and better each game. You're making them actual cases instead of being like, yeah, this is like obvious. And yeah, it was really good. I can't wait to see more. I love all the minor improvements to the actual animations of the characters. Like, look at her bouncing up and down like that. I know it only gets better with time. I've seen like tiny little bits of the next few games and the animations. Nothing really conclusive. The only thing I'd really seen beforehand was Hobo Phoenix's design. And that was about it. So yeah, I guess we'll uncover a little more about that case 7 years ago next time. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I'll see you all later. Bye-bye now. Thank you, Big Boss, Laser, everyone for tuning in. Foolproof, and Frenon, everyone. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, and Big Boss for resubscribing as well. That's very sweet of you. Alright, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Oh, wait. If we do a second stream, it'll be in a little bit, because I'm going to take a break to eat and stuff. So, if I'm back today, it'll be like an hour or two. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone!